Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Matt, Josh, welcome to the Thunderdome.
Man, I'm so excited today. This is going to be so much fun. I have so much going through my head currently right now. We're talking about bouncy balls and haunted hotels, and I want to talk about, you guys had some great basketball takes. Kudos to you for your great basketball takes. Snow, I don't know why. I love St. John's way more than I do UConn. I am way more willing to put St. John's all the way through to like the Elite Eight, and I think UConn, I'm ready to put them down to the round of 32.
Yeah, it's weird how it turned out in my thing. I had St. John's out before the second weekend and UConn in the Final Four.
That's so unlike you.
I hated the UConn Final Four thing, but I don't think St. John's is going very deep.
So here's my thing. You and I kind of do the bracket pretty similarly, where we just go through. You just go through and you just trust your gut and you don't really change anything.
I don't even think about it.
Now, I do think about it where there are moments where I pick what I believe, but then now I'm doing this thing where I'm fading myself as well, where I'm like,
oh, fade your own brain.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
I'm like, I would really pick against Kentucky because Kentucky's been inconsistent all year, but I got a feeling that they're going to make this weird run to the Sweet 16 because that's what they would do because everybody's out on them. So I'm going to pick them to beat Santa Clara. I'm going to pick them.
Oh, you're just fading the public.
I'm fading the public and myself because I also would pick Santa Clara. You know,
same thing with taking ownership and responsibility. You are part of the public.
Same thing with Purdue. Like the public is going to fade Purdue because it's like, oh, they won the Big Ten tournament, and the last 5 Big Ten tournament winners, only one of them. I don't know.
I think the public's pretty in on Purdue.
I'm in on Purdue because their path is so easy.
I do it the exact opposite. I'd say public's in on Purdue, going to the Final Four. I say they get bombed before the Elite Eight or something like that. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is.
Which they have historically.
They lost in the first round.
People forget.
To FDU.
Yep. Our dear friend Jordan was there.
I'll tell you, March Madness is so incredible because if it weren't for them, I would not know what Fairleigh Dickinson University or UNMBC is, or
UMBC. Have some respect.
Whatever.
You still don't know.
Exactly. I would have no.
They were playing last night.
I wouldn't give a rat's ass about Florida Gulf Coast University if it weren't for that one run.
Yeah. Still got love for Belmont.
Lehigh. I don't know why I love Lehigh. I don't know why I love the Patriots so much, but it's like in my heart to love them. We
all love Valpo, right?
Yeah, why not? Northern Iowa.
Bryce Drew.
I'll leave.
Brockman-Ash.
Yes, thank you for saying that last name.
You're welcome.
I couldn't accomplish that.
You are welcome.
Everybody knows Northern Iowa, though.
Well, around here, Snow. Yeah. I mean, we're in Nebraska. You got to understand. I'm
Missouri Valley Conference.
I'm Chicago brain. You know.
Southern Illinois.
You say like Loyola Chicago, and I'd be like, everybody knows Loyola Chicago.
Everybody does know Loyola Chicago,
but because of that one nun,
she's dead.
She is dead.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, she's up there.
She's
got to be up there, right?
We definitely do hold a special place in our hearts for the teams that have made runs and are underdogs. Chances are there will be another one this year.
Yes, I think the Trojans of Troy are really shaping up to be that one that makes the deep run.
No, I didn't say that. I just said chances are there will be another Troy.
This is what he does. He doesn't tell you outright that he thinks Troy is going to make a deep run, but he goes, there will be another one that makes a really deep run. Immediately glares at
stops
Snow.
And stares.
Ridiculous. Here's the funny thing too. This is why the Connor Happer show was so great, because you would do that. And you would be Mr. Family Friendly with a little bit, you would sting people. Your former producer and co-host over here would just say outright, yeah, Troy's going to upset Nebraska in the first round, which he did yesterday.
That's great. Then I got to be the good guy.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. He canceled Nebraska ball.
I did.
He canceled Creighton too, to be fair.
I almost made him put himself on the dead doest list yesterday after what he tried to pull.
What'd you do?
I simply said I have Troy beating Murray State in the second round.
No, McNeese State. You don't even remember. That just makes it even worse. Murray State's not even in the tournament.
Troy going to the Sweet 16, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
You like them. A lot of fouls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Offensive rebounds.
I do. I would like to call my shot and say all-time free throw disparity between Troy and Nebraska tomorrow.
So
pissing off the Twitter
It's going to
universe.
be a big problem. The free throw thing is going to be. I'm not talking about for Nebraska. I think Nebraska will win by like 15.
Whoa.
But like
This is what he does.
it won't-
This is
I'm dead
exactly
serious.
what he
Setting
does.
himself
I'm
up.
telling you,
This
it
is
won't be a problem for the
exactly
game.
what he does.
But what will happen is it like like with 2 minutes to go in the first half, Troy is going to have shot like 17 free throws and Nebraska will have shot 2.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do.
You know what I think more
And
accurate? It'll be like 17
it's gonna be
to
great.
6, you know,
Because the game will be like tied.
that'll be fun. Like that was really funny. Like after the Michigan game, where the free throw disparity was the free throw disparity. Granted, I think it was a little like there were some bad calls in the Michigan game, but I kind of shut up during that time about it because
Good take by you.
because I knew Nebraska doesn't shoot a lot of free throws. Like they just don't. They don't
Because
don't
they
get,
shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah, because they don't get to the line a ton. So I was just like, everyone was freaking out about it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna back out of this one. Like, I'm not gonna same thing like
Good job by you,
on
Matt.
Sunday when there were people who were really desperate to be like, I watch college basketball. I know about Troy. Here's my scouting report. Like, I was like, I don't know, Jack.
That's why you
anything.
just tweeted random stats.
I don't know. I don't know.
Real random.
I,
Really picked some random ones.
They were just random.
I don't really know.
Screenshots from the KenPom page.
I don't really know anything. And so it's just like, I was just like, I'm going to shut up while all these like Nebraska media members were like, they're not big. They are big. They're fast. They play slow. Like, I was like, I'm going to stay out of that. I just posted.
Did you get into if they're big or not? That was my favorite discussion.
Which is not it's something you can debate. It's just
Are they big,
or
man?
It's
are
not a debate. It's not a
They
debate.
are or they
a
are not.
6'9" center is not big.
They're not big.
They're not big.
That verdict, they're not big.
No, people. Why
They're-
does that have to be? This is
But
Tiny
are
baby
they
Trojans?
small?
This is when you
Are they
have
small?
no, they're not because they got 3 guys who are like 6'7" plus. I would not consider them small.
Not
But
small.
this is what
not
happens
big.
when you got a bunch of pylons talking about basketball.
What's a pylon?
A pylon
saw
is a college football guy who then starts, tweeting and talking about basketball. That's what Twitter's
I don't know if I'm on
decided.
board with the nickname, but I'm definitely on board with what you're saying.
All of these football
Yes.
men have invaded college basketball and giving their takes, and they're all wrong. And so that's why you get a bunch of pylons being like, wow, they're really big.
I saw Windhorse take Nebraska to the Final Four.
Good for Brian.
Whoa.
They,
Saw Young Gravy took us to the
Yeah.
Final Four. What do you know
Windhorse-
about Mr. Clean?
yeah, Windhorse
I
was
don't-
like, they put a microphone in front of his face, a camera in front of his face, and he's like, Nebraska. They've never won an NCAA tournament game, and I think they're going. They're
So-
going to the Final Four.
I want to
Something like that.
apologize to you because I am so excited about tomorrow and Friday in terms of having the days off,
Oh,
and
yeah,
getting
it's
to watch the
not.
games.
This is not good for me.
And I am.
I don't know why we're
I
doing
could not.
this.
I could not be happier. I really couldn't. And,
Cooler weather. Pack of cooler weather.
Yeah, I know. It sounds awesome. If only I didn't have to get up at 5 and do a show.
dude, I
Report it.
have so much time like to do things I don't know what to do. Like I've committed to doing
Maybe I
5.
can chat GPT my show.
Maybe you could. I got Claude. I bought Claude.
Imagine Chat
I
GPT
looked
in
into
your
Claude.
show.
I bought Claude, and Claude
What's
was
Claude?
Claude is like the smarter
another
AI.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's a smarter Chat GPT you have to pay for, but he's actually pretty good.
Do you think Chat GPT can make me a show for tomorrow?
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
At least a rundown.
Here's
yeah.
here's my
Interesting.
here's if you go.
But
Hey,
then I actually have to say
hey
it.
Chat GPT, can you
Yes.
make me a rundown and make some interesting topic ideas based off of the following things
What?
that I want to talk about?
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I'm just telling him what he
Well,
can
no,
do.
Josh is wondering why you have Clob.
Oh, I don't do that. This is not what I do.
Okay. Well, why do you have it?
Because I like it when so yesterday when I was trying to find out all of the bids in the Big Ten, like how many Big Ten teams make the tournament every single year, instead of trying to like bounce through a bunch of different websites and whatnot and look up individual years, I just type into Claude, hey, how many bids did the Big Ten?
But isn't
in the
like
NCAA
isn't AI
tournament?
like famously like wrong about all that
this
stuff?
this one I've done it where I actually pulled something up. So the other day when I did the statistics on seeds who beat seeds, like the matchups between seeds, how many times is a 14 beating a 3, a 13 beating a 4, and all that stuff, I already had a website that I pulled up that had all the numbers already. And then
So you
I
checked it with
and
that.
then
So
I
which was
asked,
faster?
and then I asked
Interesting.
Claude, hey, what are these numbers?
Have you seen the guide?
what?
You got to look at the guide.
I have looked. You tweeted it out. I've looked at the guide. The guide's great.
Oh,
The guy
yeah.
actually, the guide
The guide is the best.
The guide has a great stat we're going to use today about the round of 32 against the spreads based on favorites and seeds. So like how teams who are favored 6.5 points to 9.5 points in the round of 32.
Why are you talking about the round of 32?
Well, we're not, but like we are. Well, it's just a great stat.
Basketball is getting to the point of baseball where it's like
Not really.
just the longest
After the
sentence
sixth
ever
inning,
before reciting a stat.
That's
after
just
the
me.
sixth inning when it's
That's
warm
me.
out in a night
That's
game.
just me.
Exactly.
You know what, Josh? You might be right. And that is maybe why I like basketball.
Maybe,
It has
yeah.
a bigger sample size. I like sample size sports.
That's a
I'm a
really-
sample size guy.
You're a sample size
I like
guy?
to do stuff consistently, 40 games.
So when you go to the ice cream parlor, you're taking like 5 spoons, and you're like, "Hey, can I get a little sample of each?"
No, that's the opposite of sample size. That's the literal opposite of sample size. That is literally
I just heard-
sampling all 5 ice creams.
That's what I thought. I heard sample
No, it's the opposite. I want to
Oh,
get
okay.
the same ice cream
every
Like,
time.
a pint 5
Oh.
times in a row.
Oh, okay.
And just make sure it's the right thing before
You
I
like
move
you
on.
like in bulk sports,
I do. That's what I said. Sample size.
in big
Large
sample,
sample.
large
size.
sample.
You're thinking
size.
like a sample.
yeah. You're saying
He's
you're saying
talking
the
large
large.
sample.
You
size.
need
Hey, what are you
large
thinking?
sample
What are you talking about?
sizes.
Dixie cups?
Yeah, I'm thinking of.
No,
I'm
bro.
thinking
The
of,
opposite. Sample size.
Did he just bro me?
162 games.
I'm thinking of like the fun size candy
That
bars.
is so stupid. Why?
You say sample size, I think of the small little Milky Ways I used to have.
No,
in
it doesn't
Halloween.
go. It doesn't go large, medium, small.
Yes, it is.
sample size. That's not how sizes
This is,
work.
I'm just saying sample. I hear sample. I think a little spoon. I don't think of you gotta say data brackets. Large sample sizes, small sample sizes, medium sample sizes. That's what you need to be more specific.
Yeah, okay, but the large sample sizes is what I meant.
You like
Yeah.
your sports to be like Costco. Okay, you like a lot of it.
Definitely.
Do you buy 12 toothpaste tubes at a time?
No.
I do.
My
It's
wife
changed my
loves
life.
Costco. She comes every time and she says, "Guess how much this 6-pack of honey was that we'll use over the next 3 years?"
Yeah.
Well, I got it for $12.
Yeah.
Cool.
See, that one's
Great.
hard for me because you'll get a package of 3 things that last you a very long period of time. And I'm like, yeah, but I got to pay $40 for it now when I
See-
could get a version that I'll use for a couple months for like $5.
I agree. Like
I don't
I'd
have
rather-
$40 worth of toothpicks.
I'd rather buy the monthly subscriptions than the yearly subscriptions. If I'm going to pay,
Depends on what, but I'm tracking with you.
I'm like,
I do
I'd
the
rather
same.
pay $14 a month than pay $120 right because
but what-
$120
Once again,
is-
depends on what. But
Yeah, sure.
I'm generally, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know what
you're
you're
picking
going.
up what I'm putting down.
I am.
That's what I would rather. I think that's on the same.
Now
Now
you like exit options.
I do. I'd like to be able to cancel my subscription.
Yep.
I like to be able. Now PFF is probably the only thing I just buy straight up.
because you ain't canceling
Well,
that.
I ain't canceling that, and it's actually way cheaper. And it's just like I'm going to use it the entire year. Like there's not going to be a point where I'm not.
That's
gonna use
crazy. I've never used PFF in the month of March.
it. Would you have to look back and you're talking about like, oh, I'm about to say on the radio they have a good offensive line. I probably should go and look at their PFF.
Why are
grade.
you saying that in March?
Because we're talking. We're always talking football, Snow. Why?
Yeah.
Why
when
don't you
talking
trade in your
football?
PFF for
Wait,
a little
this-
Ken Palm?
This is middays with Matt. All right, we
That's-
talk
yeah.
about football whenever we please.
That's
all right?
fair.
It is always on the menu.
Football is literally always on the menu here, but you're literally
Doesn't have
wearing a
to be.
KSA sweatshirt.
I know, dude. Tell me
Sweet.
Is he still on the team?
There was, dude. I
That
was
triggered him earlier.
I was given this because that guy makes me mad. I was given this hoodie by one of the prettiest girls I've ever been in class with, and she gifted it to
Oh,
me.
That's
And
nice.
For
nice.
what
Like-
reason?
Because I was a great guy, Snow. That's why.
She
So
gave
what
you a
happened?
hoodie?
Yeah.
Did she?
Hoodies are expensive, so this must have been a real
Oh, she
What do you mean,
got.
a pretty girl just gave you a
Yeah.
hoodie?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any
That's-
sense.
What do you mean?
What's going on?
Pretty girls don't give people hoodies.
So your reaction was
You know
to
whose hoodie
do.
that is? That's her ex-boyfriend's hoodie.
Yeah,
you
where'd
wanna
that
get
hoodie
rid of.
come
Hey, I'm
from?
cleaning his
You
crap
got
out of my
ex-boyfriend hoodie.
apartment.
She worked at a marketing agency, and the marketing agency was making these custom Nebraska. So there was like a Jawan Gary T-shirt or
Just that makes a little more
or a
sense.
Tominaga hoodie. And I was like,
She was sitting on a pile of hoodies.
yes.
Yeah, she
and
got
I
it
was,
for free.
and
You
she
weren't
was-
special.
she had one Tominaga hoodie and one Gary shirt. She was like, do you want a Gary shirt or a Tominaga hoodie? I go, I will take a Tominaga hoodie.
That
So
would have
I,
been the right choice.
I have a Tominaga mania.
Yes, you do.
But
Even though he angers you.
no, Compton angers me.
Oh, okay.
Not Casey.
Okay,
Casey
sorry,
does not
sorry.
anger me. I love Casey. Casey is.
I thought it was an odd opinion.
So I'm not at the level of Nebraska basketball fan than you or Schaefer are because it's like lifelong for you guys, and I can't really compete with that. But I love Nebraska basketball because the football team was so crap and was so like historically, my 4 years of being at Nebraska, the football team has never been worse. And so the only joy that we really got as sport fans going to the University of Nebraska was the Tominaga run. Was the year they went to the NCAA tournament and lost to Texas A&M. And like seeing them beat AJ Storr and Chucky Hepburn and top 10 Wisconsin and seeing them beat Purdue.
That was it.
That was like the peak. The best college day of my life was when they beat Purdue. I think it was during winter break. And
Wasn't there like a super mega snowstorm or something like that?
And so really, it really wasn't that full, but like it was kind of calming down a little bit. And we had some responsibilities the next morning, and they had beaten the number one team in the country, and no one was really planning on like going out or doing anything. We stayed out until 3:00 in the morning and just partied it up and went across town. And everybody, every place was packed. Every place was packed, and everybody was so happy. Those were the greatest nights ever.
Basketball.
Thank you, Nebraska basketball.
Basketball can bring you happiness.
They
or absolutely destroy you.
Destructive pain.
Yes.
I love destructive pain.
You do. You like the Bears.
There you go.
Mhm.
I'm over it now, but it took me 2 weeks to get over that loss. I think it took the Seahawks beating the Rams for me to be like, all right.
Is there anything that you're not over?
I'm
The
over
pretty girl who
then
gave
I'm
you the
not
sweatshirt?
wait, anything that I'm not over.
Yeah. Is there any losses that you're not over?
big time. Yeah, I fumbled so hard in terms of a relationship.
Not that. I'm talking about
ago.
sports.
Oh,
What's been the worst loss you've
probably
suffered?
2015 Chicago Cubs.
That was tough. But they won in 16, so it's gone
But
now.
still, that 15 team was so special. Like
And
that was
Starlin Castro would have got
that
a
was
World
such a
Series.
magical run, and for one man named Daniel Murphy
Ugh.
to be for that just one individual, because it wasn't a team thing. It was really just him who crushed us, and we just couldn't figure it out.
It was so great because in the next round of the playoffs,
He was terrible.
He was just chucking the ball over the yard against the
that
Royals.
I've
great.
never got the double doink. I'll never get over the double doink. Like to this day, I don't admit that the Eagles beat the Bears. The Eagles did not beat the Bears.
Who
They
did?
though.
No, Cody Parkey beat the Bears. The Bears beat themselves.
They didn't
The
play
Bears-
Cody Parkey.
The Bears, no, they did. They did. They played Cody Parkey that day.
They
Like
played the Eagles.
I will never get over that. I'll never get over the double doink, and I'll never get over the 2015 Cubs because I love that team so much. And also too, that 2015 Cubs team was really the first Cubs team for me that was great. That was my first great Cubs team. 08 wasn't really that like I don't
08
really
was
remember.
really
Michael's a
good.
Cubs fan.
08
08
was
awesome.
good, but I was 6. Now
Oh,
You're
You're a child.
I
yes.
went to that playoff game and they played the Dodgers and we
Mhm.
actually sat near the Bartman seats, but I remember just being asleep during that game. Like I don't really remember a ton. I remember Zambrano and everything
You were
like that.
sleeping?
If I took my kid to a playoff game and he fell asleep, I'd leave him there.
I'm probably yeah. I'd be like,
Good,
you're done.
deservedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I fell asleep.
We are
during that
never
game.
going to a sporting event again.
Well, that didn't happen. But that was
It was a
that
playoff
Cub
game.
that 2015 Cubs team was the first Cubs team where it's like they were great and I watched like 120 games and I wrote it all the way and it was awesome. Justin Grimm, do you remember Justin
Oh,
Grimm?
yeah.
He was sick on that team. Relief pitcher. No one knows his name.
It was a walk-off home run against the Rockies that turned the entire season around from Chris Bryant. I remember exactly where I was for it.
It really was.
Mm.
What a team.
I don't care that they lost in 2015.
I
because They
care
won in
so much.
2016,
Yeah.
and I'm okay.
That's what I always say about
I
the
want-
14,
Mhm.
15.
That 14,
Yeah.
I was with you for the 14 World Series,
Yeah.
and then Alex Gordon would have been thrown out, but obviously,
Exactly.
Didn't go
People
home.
forget.
and
Thank
then
you.
you didn't cry, but looked like you were going to.
It was a tough moment,
It's
but it
almost-
was made all better 1 year later.
No one is going to agree with me when I say this, but for me personally, it's always I almost would have preferred if they're going to say the Cubs are going to lose. I honestly would have preferred if they got to the series, to the World Series, and then lost. in like 4.
What if they would have lost in Game 7 in sort of excruciating fashion with the tying run on third base?
That would be. I would never get over that.
In that tying run is
That
your
happened,
probable
and I got
favorite
over it.
player
Yeah,
From,
from the school you went
Well,
to.
you ended up
They
winning.
won the next
They
year.
won the next year, so
Yeah.
you get over it.
So it's really hard to be mad at the guy on third.
Yeah.
I will never get.
I
Over it.
And
do
the
remember-
the captain and hero and whatever, just he was never going to get a hit. he popped out to third base, and I was surprised he even made contact with the ball. that
You
year.
did get very mad at people for a while who said they should have sent Alex Gordon.
I did.
Yeah.
I don't blame
actually
him.
I still do. Probably. It's
I
a
would have
dumb
loved.
take.
I would have loved to have seen 25-year-old Happer get mad. I bet it was.
We
a sight
were-
to see.
We were at a bar somewhere.
Not
in
to say
LinkedIn.
that you're like past your
You
prime.
didn't get
but,
mad though.
No, it was it was such a fun ride.
Yes.
I didn't expect anything out of it.
Because
I had already attended the funeral, which was the first 8 innings of the 2014 American League wildcard game.
Mhm.
I walked around the stadium. I was there. I said, people forget. And I was walking
Nobody
around. I was like,
forgets.
this is it. I'll never be at a playoff game in my life. I'll never watch the Royals in the playoff. They made it for the first time in 29 years. I'm like, this is it. So I'm just going to just going to try to remember this. And then I sat back down.
and they won.
Long story
It
short,
was, yeah.
yada,
It
yada,
wasn't
yada.
just
They
a-
won. But, yeah,
Well,
yes.
no. I know the game, Snow, because
Yeah.
we were in Kansas City and we had the whole catalog of anything you could ever think of to watch right in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a bunch of grown men, and we all share pretty similar interests in terms of teams and rooting and all of that
Guess
stuff.
who had the remote?
But the only Royals fan in the entire house goes, all right, we're going to watch this one wild card game.
Uh-huh.
If
So
you
we
ever
watched
need
it.
7 to 10 minutes out of Connor Happer, just bring up that game and
Every
he
year
will
on
talk.
September
So
30th.
you have gotten over everything in sports?
No, I haven't gotten over the Creighton.
Yeah,
Elite Eight.
there it is.
I have not gotten over that.
Have you gotten over
I
everything?
will never get over that.
I haven't had a lot to be super I don't have a lot of high leverage moments in my sports career because Nebraska football,
Yeah.
Nebraska basketball
Yeah.
this week. I'm not over A&M, but I am. It's
Are you going
far
to puke
enough.
before the game tomorrow?
I won't puke, but I won't sit still until tomorrow.
Okay,
I won't
that's
sit
fine.
still. Yeah.
I'm a
yeah.
puker. I puked before the Green Bay game, and I puked before
You
the
and
Rams.
Josh
Totally-
Allen have a lot
totally
in
normal.
common.
Yeah.
Josh Allen pukes before every game that he plays in, but
I hadn't puked when I puked before the Green Bay
Not
game.
the ones he watches on TV.
Yeah.
from the comfort of his heated house.
The one that before I puked against the Green Bay game, it'd been like 5 years since I had puked before a game.
Then you're like, okay, game
It
time.
kind of felt good, It kind of felt like, hell yeah, we're back. Like
Sometimes that does that.
we're back to mattering. Like the fact that my stomach can't process.
I think
what
that's
I'm-
soft. As
What
a fan-
puking before
as
the
a
game?
fan? Yeah, that's come on.
I get so nervous. dude.
That I'm nervous too, but I just think about the horrible things that could happen to me. I don't puke.
Yeah, watching a game. I watched
puked before
I
the
watched part of one Bears game with you, and I did not like it.
Do you like watching Bears games in public, or are you a
No, I
watch?
hate it. I
Yeah,
hate it.
I
I hate it.
get that. Yeah.
I hate it.
Yep.
I did do the divisional game in public because I was like house money. Like we got this far. This has been a great year. Like I can enjoy this with people. And it was fine, but like the Green Bay game, there's no way. And I don't think I'll be watching any game and where it's important in front of people next year. If they're playing the nice thing about the Bears being somewhat good next year is they're gonna play some games where it's all right, I'm gonna be fairly calm. Like this should be easier.
I don't know. They had to play a first place schedule now.
Yeah, the schedule is hard, but it really, it's not like this year's schedule was that easy either. So this year's schedule is pretty tough. Had to play that.
Well, it was the schedule. You give a 4-win
It was the
team.
fourth place schedule.
No, but still, we had to play a lot. We still got to play in the North, and we still had to play the San Francisco 49ers. Still had to
Playing
had to play the
nine,
Ravens,
playing
had to play the
nine twice a
Steelers.
year is tough. Yeah.
And all of his eye black. Could you imagine playing against that?
By the way, real quick, the one game that you watched with me on the Bears game,
It was a stupid Bengals game. It was meaningless. It was at noon,
not
and
a-
you were like,
It's not First off, you're just incorrect. It wasn't the Bengals game. It was the Ravens game. Okay.
It was the Ravens. Yeah,
And
the
they
Bengals were on a different TV.
And they were getting
What
their
week?
asses kicked. And by the way, too, I was
Early
on
October.
I was
maybe?
on my best behavior because I know that I was like, I don't want to turn this into a radio segment where Connor was like, I watched a game with Matt McMaster and it was terrible. So I was
Good
on my
call.
best behavior. You're exaggerating
I have a picture.
of me. Yes, I was on all fours
Whoa.
Interesting.
after the game.
Crazy.
I
got
was on my
why?
best
For
behavior
a regular
and also
season-
on all fours.
You have the
They botched-
NFC
regular
South
They
season
botched
game
the end of the game.
brought you
Snow.
to your knees.
They
And the
bought- They
AFC
botched the
East.
end of the game.
I'm
The AFC North.
Well, this year you have the AFC East.
That'll
and
be
the
easy.
NFC
Play the
South.
Jets. They suck. The Dolphins are trading all their good players.
That's
The
true.
Patriots are frauds.
What time of the year did this game occur in?
I believe it was October 11th,
Awesome.
if I'm not mistaken. October 11th or the 15th. It was one of those days.
This is one of those moments that Connor was loving, though, I'm sure, because he knew you were.
Well, yeah, and I brought a
You know.
peach cobbler, and he didn't eat it. It
October
Because you didn't have any
26th.
ice cream.
was
That's a
October
mistake.
26th.
It was a 30-16 Ravens win.
What did you say? October what?
26.
That was probably the worst game of the year. That was probably the worst Bears game. Like, there was nothing thrilling about it. There was nothing entertaining about it. They got their butts whooped. They actually lost to Snoop Huntley. Lamar didn't even play in
that's
that
right.
game.
Yeah.
And I found out who Nick McLeod was, and because he's the worst cornerback I've ever seen in my entire life. Nick McLeod didn't play the rest of the year.
And isn't there a Ray McLeod as well?
There is. Ray McLeod
they-
played
are
for
they,
he played for Clemson. He tore his
That's
ACL
right,
in
yeah.
college. Then he
Mhm.
ended up returning kicks for
I don't have
the
it.
San Francisco
Yeah.
49ers.
I do not have.
Great
the
job,
picture.
Chanel.
That's
Ray
the only other
McLeod.
McLeod I know in the NFL.
Ray McLeod, man, great. He was I think he was a Pro Bowl kick returner and punt returner. What were you?
I don't have the
saying?
picture of you on all fours on the couch, but I do have other pictures.
Of me.
No,
Okay.
no.
That'd be concerning.
I mean, I do have.
It is a
pictures.
concerning photo that he showed
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we aren't concerned today. We're gonna have
You're not
a fine
Speak
show.
for yourself.
interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna have a segment about that. You've inspired me.
That's good. I'm glad
Snow,
I
you've
could
inspired
help
me.
at least a little.
Let's just tease it. Telling Nebraska fans to calm down is like telling a wife to calm down. It's just not. It does not
A lot
work.
of similarities.
It's not
between those two.
effective. It actually does the opposite. You tell them to calm down, and then they tell you all the reasons why they're not going to be calm, and then it actually makes them more stressed. It's a great conversation.
The only thing you could do is feed them more stats.
which is exactly
Some skewed stats.
Which
Fake
is-
news stats.
that's exactly what we got, baby.
Who cares about Ken
Those
Bomb and
stats
the
are
offensive
real.
rebound
You must
percentage?
like Creighton.
Dowd, Valdez, Campbell, Bellamy.
Is there names
Scouting reports. I got scouting reports.
on loose leaf paper?
Written in cursive.
Why are you guys judging me? Yes,
I love
read
a
it.
hard copy, but this is just
What?
Yeah,
psychopath
what is that about?
behavior.
I like
you have
paper.
you have a computer.
What, I can't write on. I can't.
I mean, you
write?
can. It's just
He often
in
doesn't
cursive.
have the
Can I
charger
read
for it. He
That's
often
not
Can I read one?
That's not true. Yes,
is this your own scouting report or did you copy somebody's scouting
this
report?
is copy.
Okay.
All right, let's go to one of the ginger
But I took
guys.
the important
Okay.
parts.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is Kobe Campbell.
Kobe.
Hooper. Can't do a whole lot else.
Shooter.
Shooter, sorry.
Shooter.
Can't do a whole lot else. Doesn't handle the ball. Doesn't play good defense. But he smooth
He shoots.
shoots
He shoots.
it well 40% from three.
So this is the guy who's going to go off and go 6
No,
of 8
it's him
from
and his,
three.
and his brother, Cooper.
Oh.
Good ball handler plus passer.
Mm.
Willing
Guard
shooter. Puts pressure on Wom. If they have another ball handler.
I don't know if they have another ball handler.
IDK if there we go. IDK if they have another ball handler after him. Whoa. Leash Scribble going to need to prep up.
Seatbelt Sam going to need to step up. Sam Hoyer.
So you're writing these things and you wrote a nickname.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just so you don't forget it.
Because it's a radio thought plus a scouting report.
Imagine writing out every word of your show and.
Every word? You think I write down every word?
No, I'm
all
just
due
saying
respect-
other people do.
With all due respect, like this isn't very in depth. So you could have put this on, like this could have been just a thought in your mind. You know,
You could also
all of this could have been thoughts in my mind. I don't think all of this could have.
Yeah, but he
I
doesn't
think-
know how to access them in the right order. He likes
Okay.
he likes
Hey,
to
do what you
form-
got to do.
Why are you guys judging me so
I
hard
know.
on how I prep? I prep the way that I prep. You prep the way that you prep,
We all
right? I don't make fun of you about your prep. This is how I do shows.
That's true, but I don't write mine down in cursive.
All right, great.
Some
Good
of
for
it-
you.
some of us just walk in ready to
want
go.
a cookie for it?
No, I don't want a cookie for not writing my prep in cursive. I do want a cookie in general.
There
though.
is one in the break room
Nice.
that I
A break room?
Sausage.
We have a break room.
Left
yeah,
over
I
from
I
yesterday.
found it. There's cookies in there, and I ate two.
Wonderful.
That's the crossover.
That was fun. That's the crossover powered by Everlevel That's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays, Matt is up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt live and rolling here on 1620 The Zone. Whoa. There it is. God, hair is a mess today. I'm in my Sunday red. I got my red Tiger Woods hat on.
I do feel a little intimidated by it.
Got my red Tominaga Mania shirt, or hoodie, rather, on, because it is a big day. I'll just say it. I'll say it because sometimes I've been around the bush about it, all right? I've been a little, I've kind of sprinkled it here and there.
Many people say we are too subtle.
I don't think they say that about us at all in the slightest. Okay. I love Nebraska basketball. All right.
You're ready to get hurt again.
Here's my thing. Because we do Blue Jay overtime and everything like that, and I don't want to come off as, obnoxious or anything like that. And I do admit I became a Nebraska basketball fan 6 years ago. So it's not like it's in my blood. It's not nearly to the level of Mike Schaefer or Michael Snow and I do want to say this, Husker basketball fans are some of the most die-hard, ready to rock foxhole buddy people I know. They are, talk about loyalty, talk about sticking to a program for an extended period of time and pouring your heart and soul into it. That is what Nebraska basketball fans, a lot of the diehard fans are like. So I didn't want to act like a fraud, I want to act like a fraud and be like, yeah, I'm with you too, guys. No, it's not. We're not the same level. There are membership tiers or membership levels to fandom. Okay, there definitely are.
Yeah, you're not Jack Mitchell.
No, not in the slightest. But I am a man who graduated from the University of Nebraska. I am a man who went to the University of Nebraska during a time where the football team was historically terrible. The 4 years I went to Nebraska football never made a bowl game.
Gross.
The 4 years I went to Nebraska football never had a winning record. Let that sink in. For those of you who went to school, you're lucky enough to go to college, lucky enough to go to Nebraska during the 90s and some parts of the very early 2000s, 2000, 2001. Let that sink in. Nebraska football never won more than 5 games in the 4 years I attended the university. I found my happiness in Nebraska sports through the end of the 2022-2023 run and the 2023-2024 Nebraska basketball seasons. Keisei Tominaga means so much to me, and he is so near and dear to my heart because he literally gave me something to root for. Okay? Gave me something to root for. Gave me something to be proud of. Gave me something to actually want to go to Pinnacle Bank Arena and watch a Nebraska basketball team play sports. So, shout out number 3. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. I love him. I love him. I love Nebraska basketball. It's been a hell of a season. And tomorrow it can come to a conclusion, unfortunately, or it could be the happening. It could finally occur. Nebraska basketball could finally win an NCAA tournament game. Be the last Power 5 team to do it, but we could get the monkey Arfar back, which would be great. I'll never forget. It probably took me a year and a half for somebody to actually tell me, hey, by the way, do you know that Nebraska basketball has never won an NCAA tournament game? I go, really? How is that possible? But it is not the first time for me personally that this has happened because I was a Northwestern basketball fan. Northwestern basketball not only had they never won an NCAA tournament game, they had never made the NCAA tournament until 2016.
And they've got to win.
They have 3 of them. They beat Vanderbilt, beat Boise State, and beat FAU in overtime. They were Dusty May's last NCAA tournament loss before he ended up becoming the head coach at Michigan.
Now he's unbeatable.
Now, That was really hard to beat. Now, I'm glad we got him when we could. Because I'll tell you right now, Chris Collins owns the Indiana Hoosiers. He certainly will never own Dusty May. Nobody will ever own Dusty May, unless your name is potentially Matt Painter. His team, the conundrum of Purdue, is incredible for me in the NCAA tournament because I know myself that I should not pick them to go deep, but they have the path that you'd think Duke would have, being the number 1 overall seed. Like, you would think that Duke would be gracious enough to be gifted Queens, the winner of Miami, Missouri. Miami, a team that hasn't beaten a quality team in forever. A Missouri team that had to play their way off the bubble into the NCAA tournament. Then, if they win those 2 games against those 3 opponents, which are incredibly beatable, do you know who they take on? Either Kennesaw State or Gonzaga. Really, BYU. It's just an easy draw for Purdue. So I don't know how far they're going to go. But the point being, Nebraska basketball. Screw Purdue. Nebraska basketball plays tomorrow in the biggest game, probably in program history. And it would be the biggest win in program history, or, and Josh Peterson said this, I kind of agree with it, be like the biggest loss in program history.
Okay.
How often do you walk into a game where the 2 sides of the coin between victory and defeat are so contrasting, are so different? It will either be the biggest win or biggest loss that the program has ever suffered. You will either
thought of that.
You will either take advantage of this incredible opportunity and finally accomplish something that literally every other power team has accomplished, or you will have this entire buildup, this 26-6 season, all leading to you just to what? Squander that opportunity in the first round of the NCAA tournament and get your heart ripped out. Tomorrow's loss, potentially, could be one of those where it's like, God, we have to do this again. Because they have, I mean, this, you look at the statistics, you look at what they've accomplished in terms of weeks ranked in the AP, weeks ranked in the top 10 in the AP poll, net ranking, you look at wins, you look at conference wins, you look Coach of the Year, all Big Ten players, defensive players, 6th Man of the Year, you look at everything they've accomplished. This is like easily one of the 3 best teams in Nebraska basketball history. And this ride has been absolutely incredible. And for it to end painfully, and for it to end with them not accomplishing the one thing everybody wants them to accomplish, it would, I can't explain to you the heartbreak that would occur amongst diehard Nebraska basketball fans. Which is why I think it was awesome that the morning show had Mike Snow on today, because Mike Snow was one of those diehard foxhole buddy Nebraska basketball fans. And the pain and worry in his voice about what a Nebraska basketball loss would be for him was, it's hard to fathom. It's hard to fathom that amount of pain you could take in terms of sports. It is. In terms of sports, obviously. There's way other painful things that happen in our life. I'm just talking about within the sport perspective. So, massive game tomorrow. And we have massive guests on today. At 12:20, all the way up until 1 o'clock, we are going to be talking to the Jack-Wagon, Jack Mitchell, Josh Peterson. The whole I-80 Club gang is on their way to Oklahoma City. We are going to connect with them. We are going to talk to them. We are going to have a little bit of a round table, if you will, about the Nebraska basketball game tomorrow. Those boys will be there. Josh Peterson will be covering the NCAA tournament for 1620 The Zone, getting exclusive content for The Zone. So we can't wait for that. And we can't wait to hear what Josh has to say about everything that's going around in OKC. But at 12:20 today, for 2 segments, we will talk to the Jack-Wagon and everything that is occurring and the vibes. We talked about Nebraska basketball fans and the nervousness of tomorrow and how big a win would be for this program and how bad a loss would be for this program. there's probably nobody better to describe the stakes of tomorrow than Jack Mitchell, who is by far the biggest Nebraska basketball fan I've ever encountered. So we will talk to them. We're also going to talk about a bunch of other stuff. Look, the NCAA tournament. We're going to talk about my favorite upsets. We're going to talk about some of my favorite bets. We're going to talk about Troy, Nebraska. We'll give you a breakdown. There was a great tweet and great breakdown from Joe Jackson on Twitter. It was an incredible read. Joe has a Substack called Feed the Post. He wrote an incredible breakdown of Troy basketball and everything you kind of need to know heading into the game. We'll talk about that breakdown. I'll give you some of my thoughts on that. There's also a bunch of other stuff that's happened in sports. We're going to do a quick car wash, really, before we get into the nitty gritty of basketball. The WNBA, we're going to spend 2 minutes on the WNBA because they signed their CBA, and there is actually some things to talk about there. The WBC happened yesterday. Mission accomplished. Whatever baseball wanted the World Baseball Classic to accomplish, they accomplished yesterday. And obviously, USA losing sucked. Okay, that was not fun. Granted, that Harper home run, holy Lord, that was awesome. It sucked USA lost, but it was kind of cool to see Venezuela win, if that makes sense. Like, they cared so much about that game, and they cared so much about winning that trophy, and their fans were so loud. And, I mean, the atmosphere last night was insane. It was incredible to watch. The fact that you were having high-stakes, passionate baseball in March, my God, my goodness.
Yeah, Nebraska, USA ended up scoring, so they didn't get embarrassed. Like,
no, it was a great game.
They were staring down the barrel of like an embarrassing offensive performance in the 8th inning, and
it was a 3-2 baseball game.
Yeah,
it was a highly competitive, fought out baseball game against two great teams with a bunch of great players. You're right, Josh. You can't like be mad at USA baseball. You look at USA baseball and be like, yeah, they gave, it by the way, too, it's baseball. I mean, it just things are weird, it just kind of happens. So they end up losing yesterday. Once again, sucks that they lost. I thought Eugenio Suarez's interview after the game was awesome.
Yeah, Fox did a great job with
they really did.
The way they covered it, just a little bit different than normal baseball games.
We give a lot of credit to NBC for how they cover basketball, with Tirico and Maria Taylor and Carmelo Anthony and the pregame that they do. And, you have Ian Eagle and Noah Eagle a part of it as well. I think Austin Rivers has done a great job. Robbie Hummel has gotten kind of in the game too in terms of NBA coverage. It's been top-notch stuff from the NBC, and we give them a lot of credit for what they do with the NBA. I think Fox is doing baseball better than anybody's doing baseball. I love that panel. Jeter, A-Rod, Ortiz is beautiful.
Jeter has gotten
better,
infinitely more comfortable on that set, and he kind of plays the role of, I mean, if you watch, he's just ribbing the other two guys, and it's hilarious.
Because in a way, isn't it crazy, by the way, that you have a panel of former MLB players and Derek Jeter is the worst player amongst the three?
Oh, interesting.
Hey, come on. A-Rod and Ortiz are better than Jeter. Let's be real.
I mean, A-Rod had some help.
Okay. Yes. He had
I think you're correct.
But I think you do kind of have that inside the NBA aspect with those three.
Right? Yeah.
Where you have three guys who are incredibly accomplished within their careers. They've all done something individual. I mean, all three of them are Hall of Famers. Kenny Smith isn't a Hall of Famer, but he won 2 championships, right? It was a big part.
You can't get in the basketball Hall of Fame, Kenny Smith?
I don't think he's not in the basketball Hall of Fame. No. I don't think. I mean, he might they put Tony Kukoc in the Basketball Hall of Fame because of his contributions to basketball. I don't think Kenny is in. He's definitely not in because of what he did in terms of his NBA career. Yeah, no, he's
sorry. I just assumed anyone who'd ever touched a basketball is in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
But anyway. What I'm saying, though, is that you got 3 great players who have accomplished a lot in their career. They have a great chemistry together, joking with each other, right? David is kind of the Charles Barkley, right? Messing around with them and everything like that. A-Rod and Jeter kind of bring that more serious baseball acumen, but at the same time, they're able to joke around and have a laugh and whatnot. But I think what they do better than what Inside the NBA does is I think those three guys do a great job of like amplifying the game in its current form. They do a great job of putting current players over and talking about just how awesome these dudes are, the power that they have, the great defense that they have. I think Inside the NBA has failed to do that. I think the Inside the NBA, I think it was funny for a while, but it's kind of, in my opinion, gotten old where all of them just talk about how they don't care about bad teams and players are soft and the load management. And, I think I roll my eyes every time Shaq talks about how he would average 50 now in this NBA and everything like that. Like, it's just, it's one of those instances where I just think the Inside the NBA crew does a terrible job of promoting basketball. And I think that Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and David Ortiz do an awesome job of doing that for the game. But anyway, that was a nice little sidetrack there. But WBC, we'll talk a little bit of the NFL. Some things are going on in terms of trades and whatnot. Oh, NBA expansion as well. I have a take on that. I think the NBA has a really big opportunity to make the Eastern Conference way more interesting now that Las Vegas and Seattle are going to join the fray, if you will, coming up in a couple seasons. So we'll touch on those, but mainly today, the NCAA tournament. Nebraska basketball taking on Troy, 11:40 tomorrow. God, it's going to be great. I cannot wait for the next 2 days. I'm getting Jersey Mike's catering all for myself. I'm going to eat sandwiches nonstop for the next 4 days, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And I could not be more excited about it. Walt is on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Real quick, Walt, what do you got for us?
Hey, guys. How you doing this morning?
Doing great. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, man, another great show, man. You guys are rocking it. Keep it going.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man, when I heard your story about you at Nebraska football, like you've never seen a winning season, I was literally in tears because I complained so much about where we are now, right, versus where we were when I was a little kid and went to the first Nebraska game, and just watched them dominate. But as far as winning, man, our university needs a win tomorrow bad. I mean, I think it would help take just some of the taste out of getting whipped in the bowl game, getting, not winning the volleyball championship.
Yeah.
Let's just get something that shows that we got over the hump. I think that's where we're all at right now. So just want to know your thoughts on that. That's how I'm looking at it. And I'm with you. There's no reason not to win this game tomorrow. But hey, I appreciate you guys' show, man. You guys are killing it. Keep it going.
Thank you, Walt. Thank you for calling in. Man, I didn't even think of that, Walt. We really have been kicked in the you-know-whats the last couple of months in terms of big games, right? Nebraska football, how they ended their season. Volleyball, I mean, that was painstaking, not even to make the Final Four after the season that they've had. And this would be another real kick in the you-know-what if they weren't able to win this one game. And it's, this is what happens when you go a long time without accomplishing something that everybody else has accomplished, because winning one NCAA tournament game is such a drop in the bucket for so many programs. I mean, Kentucky's literally won 133 NCAA tournament games. And yet, because of Nebraska's inability, unlike everybody else, to win this game tomorrow, which would be very easy and kind of a breeze for a lot of programs, right? If you're a 4 seed playing a 13 seed, you would say, all right, yeah, we should win this game. You're probably already looking ahead toward Vanderbilt if you're a normal program. But Nebraska basketball isn't a normal program, which makes tomorrow an abnormal game, which is why we cannot wait to talk about it. Jack Mitchell, Josh Peterson, the I-80 boy, is going to join us at 12:20. Jon Walker, though, coming up next here on Middays with Matt, because we have to talk the Crown. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament. We have to talk about the Crown. I don't make the rules. Everybody else does. Listen to Middays with Matt on the Zone Radio Network. the NCAA tournament, you have to talk about the crown. I don't make the rules. That's what we have to do. You have to crawl before you can walk, okay? We have to get a little bit of the preview of the non-tournament before we talk about the actual tournament. So, in saying all of that, we bring in from the Omaha World Herald the man who will be writing and covering everything about the crown, Mr. Jon Walker. John, how are you?
Well, hopefully not everything about the crown, but certainly Creighton's part in it. I'm good. I kind of have FOMO right now, to be honest. I have NCAA tournament FOMO.
Whoa.
Like, I see everybody, all my journalist friends. Of course, our good friends down in Oklahoma City, and then, a few others who are covering the tournament.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, boy, do I wish I was on the road right now. But I'm not. And Creighton is not either, but the Jays will be here in a couple of weeks when they go back to Las Vegas. Viva, baby.
Are you going to Vegas?
We didn't send Wilson to Vegas last year, and so I would not anticipate being in Vegas in a couple of weeks.
I think it's good that you get a little break from NCAA tournament coverage. I think it's good for you. You've been on the road. You've been doing it a lot over the last couple of years. Hell, when you're all the way back at Missouri State, you were on the road covering all those tournaments because they were winning national championship after national championship. Take this as a nice little, you get to sit back and relax, my friend. You get to watch the games. How about that? Look on the bright side.
Yeah, that'll be different. That'll be different for sure. I like watching the games with my own eyeballs, But
are you watching it with different people's eyeballs when you're on your couch?
No, I'm just I'm watching it through a lens.
Yeah, that's a good point. I understand where you're coming from. Let's describe this Creighton basketball season in a couple of words, if you
will. Underwhelming, adverse. If I had to assess 2 words to it, they're probably, they go hand in hand, definitely, but boy, did this team go through some stuff, right? They sure did, on the court, off the court. So a very adverse season that, really was the trajectory of the season was changed months before it ever began. If you go back to the Owen Freeman injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge part and ended up being a huge part, right? And then we know everything that this team emotionally went through really from the last week of January leading up to the pink out all the way through now, right? And boy, was it underwhelming. For one reason or another, this team went from being ranked 23rd in the preseason poll to having its worst season in over a decade. And the Jays finished, I can't remember, the Jays went 14-19, I believe, in 2014-15. And then until this year, Creighton had won 20 games in, 10 consecutive seasons, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that streak was snapped this year. Even if they go win the crown, you only play 3 games. So it was underwhelming in every sense of the word. Now, again, the adversity, the underwhelming, that all goes hand in hand. But if you had to pick a couple of words, I don't know if you could find 2 better than that.
I was looking through because there was a lot of talk of the benefits of playing in postseason, right? Whether the benefits of playing in a postseason tournament that isn't the NCAA tournament. Obviously, the best example that a lot of people are pointing at is Nebraska basketball. And in particularly, right, they go and they play in the crown last year. They win the crown. They parlayed maybe some of that momentum into a great start this season. And I think the biggest benefit of the crown is it was kind of the Cale Jacobson coming out party where he played a lot of minutes and kind of saw the value in himself and saw the value that he could bring to the team from a coaching staff perspective. But I went back, John, and I looked back at the 2023 NIT field. Can I interest you in some of these teams here that played in this tournament a couple of seasons ago? Vanderbilt.
In 2023?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so Oklahoma State was a number 1 seed.
They were.
because
You
they
were covering the team, weren't you?
first team- They were the first team left out of the NCAA tournament, and they beat Eastern Washington like 86-73 or something.
They beat them 71-60.
Okay, in the first round,
Mm-hmm.
and then they lost in the second round.
Yeah, who'd they lose to?
They lost to North Texas.
Yeah.
Because Tyler Perry, future Kansas State point guard, hit a shot from Oklahoma City to beat the Pokes in Stillwater. Yeah, so dude, it's nuts. Like how that tournament has kind of like unraveled just in the past couple of years.
It has, because let me name you some of these teams. Wisconsin was in the 2023 NIT. They're in the tournament. They're a 5 seed. Villanova in the 2023 NIT. They're an 8 seed. Vanderbilt, 5 seed. UCF in the tournament. Seton Hall obviously didn't make the tournament this year, but definitely had a much better season this go around. Michigan, number 1 seed. Florida, number 1 seed. Clemson in the tournament. Cincinnati was knocking on the door. And obviously some of these are a little bit different than others. Like Michigan ended up hiring Dusty May, and I don't think anybody from the 2023 NIT team is really on this team for Michigan this season. But my point being this, you can look at this NIT tournament and say, wow, a lot of these teams that played in this postseason tourney ended up turning some things around one way or another, ended up in the NCAA tournament, and some of them being very high seeds. After that, do you look at that as a benefit? Like, what is the benefit in your opinion for Creighton playing in the Crown?
I think it's like program by program, to be completely honest.
It probably
with you, because Oklahoma State made the NIT that year with Mike Boynton, and here we are 3 years later, and Oklahoma State's in the NIT with Steve Lutz. So, like, some programs don't. I'm just saying, I think it's different for every program. I don't know if there's a 1-for-1 correlation, because playing in any type of postseason last year, whether it was the Crown, whether it was the NIT, gave Nebraska an opportunity to see what it had. Like, we knew that team had some work to do in the portal to replace guys like Bryce Williams, Jawan Gary, but you knew that Nebraska had a really good core to build on, right? And so the Huskers went to Vegas, went to the Crown, and said, yeah, let's let the kids play to see what they can do. And now Cale Jacobson's a part of the rotation. He wouldn't have been that. Nobody would have guessed that if he hadn't popped off in the Crown a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if Creighton has the same thing. So that's where it's really interesting. Like, what would you see out of a guy that we haven't seen all season, And furthermore, we all know, Creighton knows, that roster needs retooled to get back to being a contender. So, like, I don't know if it's going to be a springboard necessarily for Creighton into next season, because, like, some of these guys aren't even going to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's where it's different for Nebraska and Creighton situations, a little apples to oranges. But I think that just kind of speaks to the uniqueness of the situation, the flexibility of the situation for each program. And, we'll see how the Jays approach it here in a couple of weeks.
Well, I do want to push back a little bit here, John, because you are my friend.
Sure.
Heading into the Crown, Nebraska, I don't know if Nebraska's core maybe was as good as he thought it was, because Gary and Williams were the 2 best players on that team, and they were leaving. And then you had Rink Mask was coming back from injury for next season. But I mean, I think I'll just admit, it was very tough at that time to really know if Rink was going to be 100% and what his impact could be the next year. And then Price Sanford is your best player on the roster. He wasn't on the roster last season, right? I mean, he wasn't really a guy that they had added yet. And so heading into the Crown, I think for Nebraska, I don't know if their core was really that much better than what Creighton has entering this tournament from the prospect of you have Greer and McAndrew and Jason Green and Fedor Zugic. Like, Nebraska's best returners outside of like Mass coming back from injury was probably Hoiberg, and that was Seriously, like Hoiberg, Buchtengel and Cale Jacobson, who had barely played that season. Like there just wasn't a lot. Like there wasn't a lot on that Crown team, right? That you really were for sure banking on to be great that next season. And then 3 of your core guys, Lawrence, Mast, and Sanford, either came from the portal, came back from injury. I think Creighton honestly probably had more of a better core going into the Crown for next season than Nebraska did.
My point is, Matt, that there is not a Cale Jacobson left on Creighton's roster. We have seen all of these people.
Good point.
For 32 games now. They have mixed and matched the rotation so much that you know what guy 1 through 15 does. 1 through 16, I'm sorry. They have one extra. So they're not going to go to Vegas and use this as, or I don't know, maybe they will. They're not going to go to Vegas and use this as a like, oh, hey, let's see what we have and get guys ready for next season. 1, they know what they have. And 2, some of these guys aren't going to be here next season.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. And so, yeah, like my point is you can use it as a springboard if you were Nebraska. And I guess you can if you're Creighton, but I just don't think the roster carryover is going like, I don't know, if Jason Green, 1, plays in the Crown period and 2 plays well in the Crown, are we really going to say like, oh man, that is how we know Jason Green will have a really good senior year?
Point.
It's
good point.
No, Jason Green is going to have a good senior year, period. So that's just all I mean from it.
Okay.
But yeah, it'd be very similar composition. Like Jawan, Gary, and Bryce Williams led that team to a Crown a year ago. And Josh Dix and Nick Graves, another 2 seniors, would be trying to do the exact same thing this year. So the end goal is obviously the same. As you pointed out, the composition of the teams is probably the same at this point in the year, right? But like, I just don't think Creighton can carry as much over from it as Nebraska did into this season.
John, I think I'm going to agree to disagree. I think just
hey, I'm not asking you to agree with me.
I agree. Just because I think only it was Berke, Sam, and Cale were the only guys who played minutes in the Crown who ended up giving real minutes to this team this season. I think Creighton's
that's my point. I mean, like,
I know,
like
but
that's why they could use it as a springboard because they knew Berke, Sam.
But Creighton's got more.
We're coming back.
Creighton potentially has more though, because they
have more. But what I'm saying is some of these guys won't be here, so it doesn't matter what they currently have.
Sure.
It's about what they'll have next season.
No, but I'm telling you, I think there's a prospect of Creighton probably having 5 guys that play minutes in the Crown that end up playing minutes next season.
Well, yeah, that's because Creighton doesn't graduate a lot.
Yeah.
As much as Nebraska did last year, and Creighton's not going to entirely strip the roster to nuts and bolts. So by volume, sure.
Okay. But by impact, by impact, it could be different. So here's a great question. So out of the guys who will give, let's say, Creighton their 3 most minutes next season. All right, let's actually up that number. Out of the players that will give Creighton their 5 most minutes played next season, how many of those guys do you think are currently on the roster?
Currently on the roster, I would say sure thing McAndrew, sure thing Jason Green. Currently on the roster, I don't know. I mean, is there an argument that that's it?
I think there's a complete argument that that's it.
Like,
that
could be it?
Is that concerning to you, or do you think there's optimism there because Creighton has proven that they have money to work with in the portal?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know if it really concerns me, but I've been under the impression since January that the roster needs improved. So, like, I'm not shocked by that by any means. But I don't know, could a guy like, who knows who comes and goes, right? But, like, could Austin Swartz take a big defensive leap and get back to filling a backcourt need Creighton will have next year? Can Blake Harper and or Hudson Greer develop into the playmaker that Creighton needs it to be, particularly in that system, right? Like, they both have all the talent in the world, but can they do it in that system, right? Well, having a full off season, having a year under your belt in Greg McDermott's offense, sure helps. So yeah, like, maybe one of those guys could, but I think surefire right now, the only two that you could say absolutely will be in the top 5-minute players are Jackson McAndrew and Jason Green.
That's a fine. It's an interesting conversation to have, because you know where I'm going with where I guess there is a benefit to them knowing what their needs on the roster is definitively. It's just everybody else's needs are kind of going to be their needs. No, they're going to need a true point guard who can be a floor general, who can distribute the ball, and they're going to need a defensive rebounding and rim protecting center. And am I valid to be concerned over the fact that it seems like everybody kind of wants to acquire that?
Yeah, I mean, those are the positions, like, those are the premium positions, right? Those are essentially your, like, left tackle and
kind of
defensive end.
Outside
like,
of the wing,
they really are. Yeah. But, like, like, you can find a really good wing anywhere. You know what I mean? You could go find a 6'7", a 6'6" to 6'8" guy who could do whatever you want him to do in your system or need him to do in your system, right?
Sure.
Like, you can recruit whatever archetype you want, really, at the 2 and 3. Generally speaking.
I think I'm NBA pilled, but I think you're right in terms of college basketball that there probably are way more of those.
I'm not talking about the NBA.
No, I think
college basketball.
College basketball, you're right.
Yeah. So, like, everybody is trying to protect their quarterback, per se, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is trying to sack the quarterback. Everybody, when the portal opens April 7th, will want a veteran floor general point guard who can shoot it, and everybody will want a lob threat rim protecting center. So those are premium positions.
Yeah.
They just are.
Yeah.
And I think those are the two that Creighton has to hit on this offseason. They're going to look to add a wing as well. That's been the case since before the Jackson Richardson commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would fully expect it to be now that they did not get Jackson Richardson. Like, they're going to look for a wing as well. They're going to try and retain a few of these guys for sure. But they have to get a point guard and they have to get a center this offseason.
Okay. Jon Walker, the Omaha World Herald, joining Middays with Matt. I'm going to give you the floor, Johnny. Just give me your tournament thoughts. Give me your bracket thoughts. Give me teams, upset potential. I will let you, because you're awesome, and you're not just a Creighton basketball writer. You are a follower and college basketball sicko. Just give me what's on the top of your mind when you look at that piece of paper and you see the 68 teams that are on there.
Yeah, we actually had to fill out, we're doing a questionnaire, like, among our sports staff at the World Herald with, like, a few of these quick hit questions. So I'll just read some of what I submitted into that. And if you want everybody else's thoughts, including Sam and Tom and Wilson and a bunch of people, you should go over to omaha.com later today. My toughest region, I'm saying this like it's a surprise to anyone, is the East.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, Duke, UConn, Michigan State, Kansas, St. John's, UCLA. Like, come on, man.
Crazy.
That is an insane region. It really is. And I've watched UConn quite a bit this year. I've seen a little bit of UCLA, and I'm teasing an answer that I'll give you here in a second. But guard play wins in March. boy, would I love to watch 40 minutes of Silas Demery versus Donovan Dent. That would be an incredible basketball game. So the East is going to be really fun. My number 1 seed, most likely to lose opening weekend, Florida. Number 12 seed or higher, most likely to make a Sweet 16 run. Cover your ears.
Oh no!
Troy.
Wow, you picked Troy?
Yeah, I think they could. It was between Troy and.
I'm sure it was between Troy and somebody else. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was real close.
Troy and Akron.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. I think whoever wins, Nebraska or Troy, is going to have a whale of a time playing Vanderbilt. Candidly, so yeah, I don't know.
Whoa, you're out on Vandy?
Or higher.
You're out on Vandy?
No. I think Vandy beats. I think Vandy beats either Nebraska or Troy.
Okay.
Number 4 seed or higher, most likely to make a Final Four run, Vanderbilt. Best player in the tournament. Okay. I could have said Boozer. I could have said DeBonsta. Could have said Lindeborg. Right.
Pick the right one. Pick the right one.
No, I didn't want to give either of those answers because it was
no.
Okay, yeah, no, of course, no joke. So I teased it a little bit earlier. Guard play wins in March. My best player in the tournament, other than the obvious answers, Darius Acuff Jr.
Attaboy, John. Great answer. Great answer.
And so best coach in the tournament, I mean, it's January, February, Izzo. So I said Tom Izzo. Big Ten team likely to go deepest, Michigan. We're winding down here, promise. Big East team likely to go deepest, St. John's.
Yeah.
I said. Yeah. I think they could overwhelm Kansas with their defensive length if they're making shots, of course, and if the refs that day in particular let the boys play a little ball. But again, I think UCLA could snipe UConn along the way because of the guard play.
Sure.
So I picked St. John's. My Final Four is Michigan, Gonzaga, Illinois, and Duke.
Whoa.
And my national champion, how about that? And my national champion, since I saw them open up a whole darn case of whoop up in Las Vegas earlier this year, my national champion is Michigan.
Okay. I thought you were going to pick Gonzaga for a second without Braden Hook.
No. I saw them I watched them get 50 balled in Vegas.
Yeah, that is true.
In that moment deemed the national champion. So,
all right.
Gonzaga, don't forget Gonzaga, man.
No, I'm going to forget them.
They were really good.
No, I forgot it.
And then Huff got hurt, and he's coming back. So, we'll see.
They're forgotten. They're tossed away. They might lose to Kennesaw State.
No, get out of here.
All right. Whiskey, long interview. Appreciate you as always. We can do this any time of the day. You're the man. I'll talk to you next Wednesday, dude.
See y'all.
See ya. Hey, everybody, you're welcome because you didn't get an interview there. You got Matt McMaster and Jon Walker at the bar. If you want to hear that conversation again, just come to True American on a Friday. Just hear the boys talking basketball. I mean, I love John. I think John was spot on with about 85% of the things that he said. But I honestly think that if you're looking at the outlook of Creighton going to the Crown and Nebraska going to the Crown, Creighton is going to have more guys more than likely on the roster who are going to be playing minutes for them in this Crown tournament than Nebraska is. And the final game of the NCAA or the final game of the Crown tournament, Berkay Butenjel played 4 minutes. Sam Hoiberg and Cale Jacobson started, and those are the only 3 players who ended up having minutes this season on that Crown roster that played on this roster that's in the NCAA tournament. Only 3 guys. Creighton is going to have probably 4 or 5 who are going to end up playing minutes or are going to end up being on the team next season. So I think the outlook in terms of getting extra minutes and playing in some postseason play and having extra practices, it actually kind of stands more so to potentially benefit Creighton because they're going to have more guys who go from this Crown roster to the actual roster next season, potentially. On top of that, though, John did make a good point. I don't think you're really going to have a Cale Jacobson coming out party type deal with Creighton that Nebraska had, just because John's right. We've seen everybody play. there's no stone that went unturned in terms of, Creighton trying to figure out their problems this season. I mean, a lot of different guys got minutes and a lot of different guys got run. So you probably won't have I didn't see that from this guy this season popping up in the tournament like you did for Nebraska. But, I mean, I think it's something to stand there. Like Hoiberg, Jacobson, and Berke are the only dudes who are on that Crown roster. Everybody else either was coming off of injury, got hurt like Connor Essegian, or you got them from the transfer portal in some way, shape, or form. So the Crown, I think, stands to benefit Creighton for sure, and I think it's the right decision. I don't know what went into the decision for Creighton to be in the Crown, but I think it was the right decision that they made. All righty, we're going to hit a break, do some house cleaning real quick, and then we'll go ahead and do some odd news at 11:45. At 12 o'clock, we'll preview the Troy versus Nebraska game. Then we'll have a great 2-segment interview with the Jack-Wagon that's currently on the way to Oklahoma City with Caleb Henry, Josh Peterson, and Jack Mitchell. I think Johnny Leesfeld, too, Jack's son, will be in the car as well. And then do some tournament breakdown at 1 o'clock, and then we'll give you our dogs plural of the weekend. Great show up for you here on the Zone Radio Network.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Sorry. Brought me at a bad time. I was looking at advanced stats. Oh, nothing better than pace. Don't you love pace?
Don't you love it when you really go all year long kind of ignoring the advanced analytics and like not paying attention to certain percentages and pace and free throw rate or assist percentage or effective field goal percentage or, player efficiency ratings or anything like that. And then it just pops up on Twitter. You're like, whoa, look at this advanced stat in March. This means a lot. Let me go ahead and bet against this team because they suck at this one metric. And they're playing a team that's great in it. By the way, I love Northern Iowa over St. John's. I think that is going to be the slowest, grindiest, meatiest, just disgusting basketball you've ever seen. Which, by the way, we're going to
I like when teams play fast.
Yeah, no, this is going to be real quick because we'll talk about this in our best bet segment or just kind of our breakdown segment. Like, I think St. John's is going to beat Northern Iowa, but Northern Iowa is getting a ton of points for how slow they play. They're 362nd out of 365 teams in possessions per game. And they're being given 10.5 points against St. John's, who isn't necessarily a run and gun basketball team. They're not like Nate Oates in Alabama, who I don't know if they're going to be able to run and gun as much as they want, considering the fact that one of their best players, and I think their second leading scorer, Aiden Holloway, is going to be playing. So, oof, indeed. Let's do a quick little car wash here before we get to the odd news at 11:45. A lot's kind of happened in sports that isn't college basketball over the last day or two, which is kind of, we have to acknowledge it. We're a sports show, even though do I really want to go fully in depth about the Miami Dolphins not trading Devon Achane? Probably not.
That's the beauty of it. You don't have to.
I don't have to, but I do have to acknowledge. Can I make fun of Miami just real quick?
Yeah, they're clearly tanking.
They're dumbasses, okay?
No, they're not dumb. They're clearly not trying to win football games.
Yeah, but they paid a quarterback $23.5 million.
That's what a mid-ass quarterback costs.
For him not to be able to throw to anybody.
Yeah.
He's not. If you really want to tank Josh Hudson, you don't pay anybody any money and you draft like Drew Aller. And you're like, oh my God, he's 6'5".
I guess they could let Quinn Ewers do the quarterbacking. And
if you really want to tank, here's what you should do. You should use a bunch of mid-round draft picks on Cade Klubnik and like Drew Aller and be like, we're gonna take 2 shots at the barrel. One of them's gotta hit, right? Do you know Gary Vaynerchuk? He's like this. Okay, Gary V on TikTok. He's like that TikTok guy. He's a little bit like Dave Ramsey, where Dave Ramsey tells you not to spend $1.
Oh, sure.
Where Gary Vaynerchuk tells you to work 90 hours a week for your entire life if you want to be rich like him.
I am, and it's not getting me any money.
Exactly. No. Gary V wants you to go to garage sales.
Oh, okay.
He wants you to go and be a hustler at garage sales and buy a bunch. He wants you to be awesome on eBay. That's his thing. He's like, I go on eBay, dude, and I buy a bunch of toys and I sell them. Okay, that's what he does. He wants to own the Jets one day. That's like his big life goal. He wants to own the Jets.
Okay.
He yet doesn't have nearly enough money to do it. Okay, not even close to enough cash to accomplish that.
Sure.
But and by the way, he's invested a lot in crypto because he thought crypto was going to be like the thing that gets him there, and he kind of failed in doing that. Anyway, enough about Gary V. His big thing was he wants to draft 7 quarterbacks a draft until he gets the quarterback. He's like, we're going to use every pick on the quarterback every single year until we get the guy, and then we'll figure it out. Which is crazy.
Gary V's net worth, according to Google, is like 160 to 220 million.
Okay, it used to be 230 to like 350.
Okay, I'm gonna guess the Jets would sell for
like $10 billion.
Yeah, many billions.
A lot of billions.
Check a Forbes evaluation.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh my God, I feel like Forbes doesn't matter until that one article a year.
Yeah, exactly.
That and Vogue. Vogue posts a couple of naked pictures of athletes, and we're like, oh, Vogue.
8 billion with a B.
Yeah. Not even close. He's not even close. That's like me trying to buy a new Ford Festiva on my salary. It's a Fiesta, by the way. That was Was that a Sebastian Maniscalco joke I stole? I don't know. I steal jokes from him and Gabriel Iglesias all the time. But it's like, I'm not a comedian. You know, Amy Schumer can't do it because, like, she's a comedian. I can do it sometimes because I'm on the radio. It's different.
Okay.
That's what I tell people. That's what I tell myself at night. PC goes, because Matt gets to the Caitlin Clark thing. Yeah, we'll get to it real quick. The WNBA has agreed to a CBA. This is just going to be me saying this right now. I mean, they're going to have a new salary cap, $7 million. It's $1.5 million more than what they had before. I think sometime in May is when they'll get back playing to games in the WNBA. Look, I don't really care about them agreeing to a CBA or anything like that as much as I just want to acknowledge how they just screwed the pooch so much over the last year and a half. The WNBA has in terms of like actually capitalizing on having the momentum that they gained because of Caitlin Clark. I mean, they have squandered all this actually good vibes that had been given to their league more than any other league has squandered all right. People made fun of me when I gave a lot of compliments to Roger Goodell, but and they were like, oh, anybody could do that job. I don't know. The NFL got a ton of momentum, and he's done an awesome job at actually relaying that momentum into more money, into more coverage, into more people caring about a sport, and a sport which was already insanely popular, somehow becoming more popular. Where if you want to see how could Roger Goodell screwed up the NFL, gaining even more momentum than they already previously had, look at the WNBA, because nobody gave a damn about that league. Caitlin Clark comes to that league. People actually want to buy season tickets and go to the games, and ESPN is actually clamoring for WNBA coverage, and they're hiring people to talk about the league, and they're putting the games on national TV. And what do they allow to happen? Instead of being like, thank you all for coming and giving a damn, they go, why weren't you here before? We've always been great. Where have y'all been? That's what they did. Instead of being like, thank you, Caitlin, thank you so much for providing us relevancy that we never had. What do they go? They go, why can't the whole league be the athlete of the year? And they allowed the athletes who have been in the WNBA, who haven't been able to do a damn thing in that league in terms of it gaining popularity, be jealous and run roughshod over her. And bully her and say rude things about her and be like, yeah, we were at an all-star. No one on Team Clark was at the all-star meeting that we had about wearing those shirts at the game. I don't know. I mean, they just, good for them for getting the new CBA. Good for them for having their league. And we're talking about them way more than they were before. And they still have a little bit of momentum, but they had so much more. And instead of allowing the golden goose to be the golden goose, they just kind of let everybody do and say whatever they wanted to her, and they didn't protect her from a league standpoint. And then somebody in the WNBA needed to call the USA Olympic roster and say, are you kidding me? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? You're not going to have her on the USA basketball team for the Olympics? Do you know how much viewership these Olympic games would get because she's running the show? Do you know how good this would be for the game if you allowed her to be on the roster? She's not on the roster. Are you dumb?
Platcat was specifically talking about her being named World Cup qualifying MVP. But you took it in a different direction.
I always take it in a different direction. That's what makes the show the show.
Mm-hmm.
WBC happened yesterday. Awesome. It accomplished what it needed to accomplish. We had great baseball in March. We had baseball that people gave a damn about in March. We were having fun. I was actually stressed. I was on the edge of my seat for 3 games in March. 3 baseball games in March literally had me on the edge of my seat.
What more can you ask?
That's insane. Did it grow the game? No. But was it?
That probably did in Italy.
Probably. You know what? Great point, Josh. There's nothing more Italian than seeing people who weren't born in your country hit home runs against people who were born in the country they were born in. That and espresso. So that was, you're right. It probably did some things in Italy, but it was fun baseball, and we were very happy that it happened. And I'm looking forward to the next WBC. Also loved Aaron Judge continuing the streak of coming up small in very big moments. That was beautiful.
Pretty on brand.
Very on brand. It wasn't Giancarlo's fault, is what people
it wasn't.
It wasn't. Good for Giancarlo. That sounds like a first things first on FS1 topic. Who's the big winner of the WBC? Giancarlo Stanton.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Real quick too, NBA expansion's going on. We kind of missed this. They're going to make 2 more teams in Seattle and Vegas. Cool. I don't really care about that. There's a really big opportunity though for the NBA here. When you're adding 2 Western Conference teams, that means 1 team in the Western Conference has to go to the Eastern Conference. Do not do Memphis. Nobody gives a damn about Memphis. It would make the most sense logistically because they are the only Western Conference team that is over the Mississippi River on the eastern side. Make it Minnesota. Okay. Don't do this whole, well, Memphis is the most east. Nobody gives a damn about Memphis. Put Anthony Edwards in the East. Put this Minnesota Timberwolves team in the East. Put another superstar in the East. Make the Eastern Conference way more interesting by putting a team that actually has a future in the NBA in that conference. Don't do Memphis. Nobody gives a rat. Even the people in Memphis don't give a rat's ass about the Grizzlies. Minnesota basketball matters in Minnesota. It matters to us because Anthony Edwards is a dog because he's a future superstar. Put that man in that conference, okay? For once, don't do the logistical thing. Do what will make you money. And what will make you money is Anthony Edwards in the East. What will make us happy is starting our lunch break with Josh Hodson in the Odd News. That's next with Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Hodson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Odd Son.
Josh, do we have a Florida story?
We do. We
Okay,
do,
let's
actually.
lead with that.
Okay.
We're going to go male. We will go Waffle House. And we'll go a knife. I think a male, a knife, and a Waffle House are involved. Josh?
Not even close.
Dang it!
The Florida Senate.
Okay. Dang, you know what? This is good, though, because now I'm going to know to add Congress
Yeah,
to
that is a
the
possibility.
repertoire.
Sure,
okay,
sure.
good point. What stupid bill have they passed?
Well, it's what they didn't pass.
Oh, what did they not pass?
The Florida Senate failed to pass a bill that would prohibit residents from marrying their first cousins.
That's an Alabama thing. Why is Florida getting into this
well,
now?
you know, they touch in that little that little part there.
They are, yeah, they do rub off. I guess incest is.
Alabama Shore.
Are you telling me that incest is contagious? Is that what you're breaking here?
Sure seems to. The bill, HB 733, sought to end the state's recognition of incestuous marriages starting in July of this year. Florida is still among the states where marrying a first cousin is legal. The legislation seeks to bring the state in line with the majority of the United States.
Yeah, I think that would be a logical reason and a pretty easy bill to pass.
The proposed legislation outlined particular relationships that would be prohibited. A man would be forbidden from marrying his sister, aunt, niece, or any woman related to him through direct bloodlines.
Okay.
The law specified that a woman could not marry her, and try and follow me on this, her brother, uncle, nephew, or any man related to her direct bloodline.
Wow, what a hot take.
Yeah. It doesn't say why the bill didn't
I would
pass.
like to know why. I would like to know why. Now,
So,
here's
because you didn't include it in the story, I'm left to think that this is something Floridians want.
yeah. Or you got to think that there's somebody in Congress that's probably marrying your cousin, right? I mean, that's what I have to think. I have to think that there's some sort of state senator of Florida that's married to their mother.
Yeah, we need to
who is
do a deep records check.
How about this? Who's the MFer in the Florida State Senate? You get it? You get it?
I do, yeah.
Because you would be okay, you know what? We don't have to go in detail. What is the second story, Josh Hodson?
A man in where is this at here? Forgive me. We'll figure it out together. Patrick Alexander, South Carolina. Patrick Alexander, 33 years young, was arrested Saturday for trespassing at a property in Chesterfield, South Carolina. After a night in jail, Alexander was brought before Judge John Davis, who had set bail at $250.
Why would you set a bail at $250?
I don't know.
That is such a dumb bail. All right, continue.
Given back his belongings so that he could retrieve bail money, Alexander pulled out a wad of cash and handed the judge 3 $100 bills and advised the judge to, quote, keep the change.
Nice, you filthy animal. Hell yeah.
Here's a problem with that.
Oh, what's the problem?
It wasn't real money.
Oh, no, John.
It had Chinese writing on the back. The judge saw that, believe it or not, and said, hold up.
You committed a crime.
Not cool, bro. He was hit with a pair of new charges: forgery, felony, contempt of court. Bond is now $6,000. When the funny money was booked into evidence, police noticed that the defendant had actually handed the judge 4 fake bills.
Oh, did that up it to like another crime? Like, if it's 3, it's a misdemeanor.
No.
If it's 4,
no, just a funny maybe he can't count,
That-
or maybe he gave a very generous $150 tip.
Okay, that seems like a Cartoon Network episode. That sounds like something you'd see in Tom and Jerry. All right, next and final story here.
We
Josh
go
Hudson.
to Augusta, where
Whoa!
the master's meal for Mr.
Okay,
Rory
all right,
McIlroy
all
has
right.
been announced.
Break it down for me.
Apps, we got them. Peach and ricotta flatbread. I understand this tournament's
That
in
is
Georgia.
so
but
California.
I hate
Come
a peach. Hate peaches.
Ricotta's overrated.
Rock shrimp tempura.
Ooh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
tempura shrimp.
Bacon wrapped dates.
Have you ever had a bacon wrap date?
I haven't. I
Very
would
good.
if offered one.
Very good.
Mhm.
Very, very good. This is such a California. Rory has been influenced way too much by being in California and Florida. Continue.
Grilled elk sliders, the final appetizer.
Okay, I mess with it.
Mhm. Your first course, yellowfin tuna carpaccio.
Whoa.
With foie gras on a toasted baguette and chives.
That sounds awesome.
It does. The main course, your choice of Wagyu filet mignon or seared salmon.
Oh, come on. Not creative enough.
Brussels sprouts, glazed carrots with brown butter, crispy Vidalia onion rings
All right.
to placate the Georgia fan base. And dessert, sticky toffee pudding with vanilla ice cream.
Okay. We have to hit a break. I want to break this
Ooh, yeah.
down. When
Okay.
we come back, this is a last great odd news story. This is a perfect lead in and tease. We're going to break this down. I have some thoughts. I think it's terrible.
Whoa.
I think it's a terrible menu. I'll tell you exactly why coming up next here on the Zone Radio Network.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, I have an issue with Rory McIlroy and his Masters win. Okay.
Okay.
Here's my problem. First off, I like it when the guys who win the Masters, like John Rahm, right? He's Spaniard. He goes, look, we're going to have a Spanish type, right?
I like
When
that as well.
Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters, right? What did Hideki do? Hey, we're going to have sashimi. We're going to have Japanese steak. We're going to have Kobe beef. All right. We're going to keep this theme, right? And, when Scotty Scheffler goes ahead and he wins the Masters, what does he do? We're having a Texas dinner. All right. We're having Texas things.
This is
okay.
what they served us in jail.
Rory McIlroy's menu is just the most hip California Hampton Social Club menu I've ever seen.
Would you want them to serve haggis?
I'm just saying I would have liked a little bit of Northern Ireland menu flavor
Maybe
in
some
here.
lamb.
I would have liked something that was unique to him, unique to his country, unique to, Northern Ireland, right? I mean, I'm not saying that I need him to have bangers and mash for the first, second, and third courses. But when I'm telling you, I just feel like I can go to the 19th hole at the Pelican Hill Golf Club and have this, the peach and ricotta flatbread with bacon wrapped dates and grilled elk sliders. What are you trying to get on the Joe Rogan podcast, getting your elk? All right. I mean, I just doesn't. And also too,
it's lean meat, brother.
You talk about the whole playing to the Georgia crowd with the peach flatbread and all right. So by the way, for those who are just joining us, here's his menu: a peach and ricotta flatbread, rock shrimp tempura, bacon wrapped dates, grilled elk sliders are his appetizers. There's no continuity there. There's nothing that goes with one or the other, right? You're mixing meats and you're mixing textures and breads. Like your stomach isn't gonna love you if you have a grilled elk slider and then you pile on top of that shrimp and then you also add in a very hearty bacon wrapped date. All right. What am I trying to have better gut health with eating dates? This is just a little ridiculous. Then the first course, I love a yellowfin tuna carpaccio. All right. But does that really make sense after I just had a slider and some peach flatbread? Not really. Then you have the main course, which is we're having steak and salmon. Get a little creative. You get to, they are going to make you anything. You get to pick anything you want.
It's on them to go get it.
And you go Wagyu. First off, too, when you go Wagyu filet mignon, is this Japanese Miyazaki A5 Wagyu? Or is this like American Wagyu? Is this what type of Wagyu? Because we just stick Wagyu on the front of any steak. And we go ahead and say, all right, well, it's great. It's Wagyu. No, there's different types of Wagyu.
Can I offer a theory as to what may have happened here?
Go ahead.
I think it is possible that Mr. McElroy received a call from Augusta and said, hey, that menu's due at noon. And he said, hey, honey, fill this out for me.
Dude, okay, so Joe makes a good point. He lives in Florida, not California, but go off. That's what seriously.
Okay.
I mean, I'm right. I can get this after playing the Jupiter, Florida golf course in the 19th hole. All right. I can go and play at any course and go at any nice course in Florida and then have this menu. Be unique, be distinct, be different. Wait, we're just gonna have seared salmon? How about you specify what type of salmon, right? Maybe make it like a fresh Norwegian salmon, right? Get like the top quality salmon. No, we're just gonna have a Wagyu fillet, and then like the Vidalia.
I mean, they're not going to like Publix.
I know, but it's just like you can be a little different than seared salmon. You've already got we're eating tuna carpaccio. So you're telling me that I'm gonna put shrimp, tuna, and salmon all in my stomach in one sitting? Just make it an omakase at that point. Or omakase.
Yeah.
Omakase. Just have, you know what? That'd be a great Masters dinner. Hey, we're gonna have miso soup, and then we're gonna fly in a Japanese sushi chef, and we're gonna have an omakase of his choosing. Wouldn't that be sick? We had like a 3 Michelin star omakase dinner for the Masters. Now, I will say, his dessert is on brand. Sticky toffee pudding. I think bread pudding is my favorite dessert. With a nice little scoop of ice cream.
Okay.
I love bread pudding. I don't know. This is meh. You know, I have my own last meal menu that I've already made. Would you like to hear it?
My final
Well,
meal.
I think you pretty much have to tell me now.
So my appetizers would be salmon nigiri, yellowtail hamachi, foie gras, and 6 West Coast oysters. All right? We're keeping it seafood for the appetizer. Keep it light. You hit the high notes. You have oysters, you have yellowtail, you have fresh salmon, and you get a little fatty with the foie gras, which is the duck liver. Then my entree would be French onion soup, filet mignon Oscar. You know, when you put the crab meat on top of the filet mignon.
Sorry.
So you get a little surf and turf. You get Oscar filet mignon. Then you have cream spinach, and then I would want Al's beef, Italian sauce, or Italian beef from Al's. That's what I want on the side. So you can have an Italian beef, and you can have filet mignon. You can do a little grub, and you can be very fancy. Get one or the other. Right? Enough of this, steak and fish. You either be disgusting, or you can have a filet mignon. My dessert would be bread pudding with vanilla ice cream and platanos, like Cuban platanos maduros with sugar, azúcar. Incredible. That's a real menu right there. Seafood appetizers, a grummy, disgusting dinner with cream spinach and steak and Italian beef. I would love to have a French onion soup. Give me a cup of French onion before I have that steak. And then,
what do you care? You're dying.
Exactly. Well, you listen to the drinks that I would have during my final meal.
Whoa. Okay.
I would start off with a gin and lemonade. Then, in between my appetizers and my dinner, I would want a shot of Código Reposado tequila. Then, while I'm eating my filet mignon with my French onion soup and my Al's Italian beef, I would want to have an ice cold Coors Light. Then, for dessert, because I'm getting drunk before I die, I would have a sweet old fashioned. That's a last meal right there. And that's not made for any of you. That's made for me. I'm not trying to please you. I'm trying to please myself.
Well, this is Rory's Champions Dinner. He's not trying to please Scotty Scheffler.
Would this please you? Do you find this menu to be pleasing? I find this menu to be something that I could find anywhere in Napa Valley,
I
California.
think it's good, but it has no character.
No character. Thank you, Josh. You put it perfectly. No character on this menu.
Now, some would argue that perfectly describes Rory McIlroy, but that's not what we're doing in this segment.
We're not making.
Whoa.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
That was a clever zinger. The more clever you can get, the more I'm going to breen you. Right?
I like calling it breening someone instead of banging
somebody. No, we don't want to bang anybody.
No.
Well, not on this show, at least.
Right. Just that girl who gave you that hoodie.
Dude, so pretty. Anyway, she was.
No, I believe it.
She's not listening to the show. Savannah ain't listening. She was great.
Hi, Savannah.
If you just bulldoze a joke, we'll give you one breen. We'll breen you once.
Okay.
But if you get a little, like, you give me that Josh Hodson wink, that little clever, that one. Oh, that's stone cold. now I know how Robbie was born.
You know what we're talking about.
That was great. All right. Let's talk about Nebraska basketball. Enough of the funny business. Enough of us making you laugh. Enough of us doing the whole shebang. Let's talk business. Let's talk real here.
Yeah.
Tominaga Mania. Not going to happen tomorrow. Unfortunately, Tominaga isn't on the Nebraska Cornhusker basketball roster, unless you ask Will Compton. Then he definitely is. He definitely is going to play tomorrow, and he will be a big key. I'm not worried, but I'm not overly confident.
You sound not worried.
I'm not worried. Look, I know better than with Nebraska basketball fans than to tell them to calm down. Okay? Telling Nebraska basketball fans to calm down about being worried about haunted hotels and offensive rebounding and slow starts and all of that stuff. I caught myself. Is like telling your wife to calm down after a really heated argument. I've seen my father do it, okay? It never went well, all right? If anything, it caused the adverse effect. When you tell your wife or your Husker basketball fan in your life to calm down, they actually then give you all of the reasons why they should not be calm, And then they actually get less calm and more stressed about it. So I'm not going to tell you to do that. What I am going to tell you is that numbers would suggest, both offensively and defensively, that Nebraska basketball is just the better team. Okay? And that some of the things that Troy does defensively, like doubling in the post, would actually be very bad for them if they did it against Nebraska, because Nebraska would be able to spread the floor, have 4 guys out, hit a lot of 3-pointers, and then also allow Rink Mask, who's a good passer, to go and kind of slice and dice the defense. That's what I would tell you. I would tell you that rule for Nebraska, that what they do on defense would not be good for Troy. I'm not going to tell you that, though. I'm not going to tell you that, hey, Troy likes to drive and kick a lot, and teams that have driven and kicked against Nebraska turn the ball over a ton because Nebraska is incredibly active in the passing lanes. Not going to tell you that. Not going to tell you that. Troy actually only has one guy that can handle the ball on this team, and there's a reason why Cooper Campbell plays 34 minutes a game, because they literally don't have anybody else who can do that for him. I'm not going to tell you that Victor Valdez loves to shoot the 3-point ball, even though he shoots 22% from the field, and that will actually be very good for Nebraska, and there'll probably be a bunch of wasted possessions, him trying to find his shot. I'm also not going to tell you that Kobe Campbell, Cooper Campbell's brother, who is a 40% shooter from the 3-point line, literally can't do anything else on the basketball court. The guy is useless outside of shooting the ball. Do you know what you do? You just run him off the 3-point line, which Nebraska has done a ton to much better shooters and much better players this entire season. There is like, we all are going to freak out about the offensive rebounding. We're going to panic a little bit because the 3 bigs for Troy, Valdez, Bellamy, and Sang, if he ends up playing, along with Thomas Dowd, so 4 of them, they're 4 bigger guys. We're all going to freak out because they're going to pose problems to Nebraska, and they're going to get their own, and it's the type of team, and they do the type of things that Nebraska has struggled with this season. And I understand it. At the same time, like, they definitely do pose their flaws on the other ends of the court. Like, we're going to freak out about Valdez being 6'7". I mean, the really only good thing that he does is rebound the ball, and everything else is kind of like up for debate. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I just look at these teams and I respect what Troy can do, and I'm going to admit to you that they are dangerous. They are dangerous. Kobe Campbell can end up hitting 5 threes tomorrow. Thomas Dowd could end up being an absolute menace on the offensive rebounding on the side of the court for Nebraska. Like, they have the opportunity to beat Nebraska tomorrow. But at the same time, Nebraska has done a couple of things this season that would have to occur tomorrow. They're going to have to play just a bad 40 minutes. They're going to have to play down to competition the entire time. They're going to have to be sloppy on defense and not cause turnovers against a team that can be sloppy in terms of driving and kicking the ball. They're going to have to not adhere to the rules that they imposed against Purdue and against Iowa when they tried to limit the offensive rebounding. Like, they are going to have to play some really bad basketball and not find their stride at all throughout the entirety of this game to end up losing it. And I just don't think that's going to happen because they haven't done that this entire year. Is it very Nebraska basketball fan for them to think, exactly, Matt, it hasn't happened this entire year, which is exactly why it's going to happen tomorrow in the biggest moment? Is that what people are thinking? Yes. Do I blame them for thinking that, Josh Hodson? Not really. Not really.
They're going to absolutely blame this on the hotel if anything bad happens.
I can't. I mean, we're talking about a program that hasn't won an NCAA tournament game. We're talking about a program that is the only Power 5 team to not do that.
These thoughts creep into your head when you've never done it before. Absolutely.
We're talking about a program that has so much coverage and that has so many people talking about
We got nothing else going on right now, people.
With a bunch of players that know the narrative, that know the story, that know the pressure, that know what they have to accomplish tomorrow, and understand that they are so close to being on one side of being the greatest team of all time in Nebraska basketball history, and so close to being on the other side of the biggest disappointment. They are on both. They know that they are one coin flip away from being the greatest or from being, man, that team. If only they could have done this. That's a lot of pressure. So from a basketball perspective, if it weren't for the Purdue game and the fact that Purdue only got 10 offensive rebounds against them after getting 21 the first go around. Purdue capitalized on those 10 offensive boards, but they were able to limit that. I think they'll be able to limit it tomorrow. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Cooper Campbell as a ball handler. I think that Burke Buchton is going to have a really, really big assignment guarding Thomas Dowd. And he's going to have to really be physical on the defensive end, not let him get downhill, not let him stretch the floor, which Dowd can do. And Dowd is an incredible rebounder. Berkey's going to have to come up big time. Sam Hoiberg is going to have to play some really good defense against Campbell, which both of those guys have done. I think Nebraska is going to win the game tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to cover, but I think they'll win it handily. And I think just the leadership of this team with Mask and Sam Hoiberg, who've talked about this moment, who've talked about this game, who know, really ever since they beat Michigan State at Pinnacle Bank Arena, this is we've been waiting for this. Ever since they went through that stretch of beating Illinois, Wisconsin, and MSU, this is what you've been working toward. And I think those guys, with how much this means to them, and both collectively how well they've played throughout the rest of the season, they're not going to let this opportunity slip away from them. And I think they're going to win. It's going to be a tougher game than 13.5 points, but I think they do it. I think they do it, and I can't wait for the people to party in Oklahoma City. We
want to party with you.
Men who potentially will be partying in Oklahoma City are Josh Peterson and Jack Mitchell. They join us live from the Jack-Wagon, live from the road here on the 1620, the Zone. Well, I guess the Zone Radio Network. Let's just call it that. Here on Middays with Matt. smaller bullet while riding a horse blindfolded. And if you were to describe what we're about to do here on 1620 The Zone to somebody back in 2004, I think they would be floored at the fact that we are going to attempt to interview on a miniature, I guess, tie line, maybe you would call it, in a moving car in the middle of what I'm going to guess might be Kansas. That's what we're going to try and do here with Josh Peterson.
A state known for its excellent cell phone reception and internet.
Especially the parts that don't have a lot of metropolitan areas as well.
Which is all of the state.
All of the state. So currently right here, we have Josh Peterson and Jack Mitchell, who are laughing their butts off because a minute into the interview, the internet went out. But they're back. How are we, boys?
Good. Caleb was about to turn into a lot instead of.
This is going swimmingly already.
Bravo.
You know, we did leave it up to the potential that this would not go.
But he's
well.
had 30.
This is part of the fun. Or at least it seemed fun when we were planning it.
It did seem like it was really going to work well, but the camera is falling and we can't hear them and they're breaking in and out. Are you boys okay now?
Can you hear us now?
We can hear you now.
Apparently,
are you tracking through the mainframe? All right. This makes
not going well. Is that what we're learning right now, McMaster? That's not good.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't think they can hear us. This is terrible radio.
We're a little far behind. There's a little bit of a lot going on right now between us and never good.
All right. Disconnect and reconnect and we'll try again.
I'm going to blame Kansas.
How about we remove them from the stage here? Can we communicate with them for them to disconnect and reconnect them?
Yeah, I got you. Talk amongst
it
yourselves.
It probably might be best for them to call in and then pass the phone. Okay, Alex, calm down. Great segment, says Sindelar. Look, we tried, all right? We told you this was going to be like trans warp beaming, okay? We told you this was going to be really difficult and that they were moving in a car on a tie line through Kansas, and apparently the test went well, but they didn't go well. So we're going to try and reconnect with our guys who are currently moving to Oklahoma in order to watch the Nebraska basketball game as they take on the Troy Trojans. Going to be an entertaining game tomorrow, in my opinion. Kind of the bulk of the breakdown is this. Troy plays 5 out. We got a guy named Thomas Dowd who takes 5.7 threes per game. He's going to stretch the floor, number 1 on the court. A really physical athlete, really good rebounder. And we talked to Scott Cross yesterday, the head coach of Troy Trojan basketball, and he said, look, we're going to crash all 5 guys to the offensive boards. That is kind of
his
the
own
reason.
son.
Yes, that is kind of the reason why a lot of people are talking about Troy being a big upset in the first round of the NCAA tournament. We'll go to the Field of 68, which was run by Jeff Goodman and Rob Dosker. They are picking the most likely round of 64 upsets. The number 1 upset that they picked was Troy over Nebraska. This is their description. With high variance offensive teams like Nebraska, it can open the door for an upset. Since their first loss on January 27th, which came against Michigan, the Cornhuskers ranked 112th in offensive efficiency per Torvik. Plus, Troy is a tricky matchup. They beat San Diego State, and San Diego took USC to 3 overtimes earlier in the year. They point out the fact that Troy can get hot from three-point land at times. They did overall shoot 33% from the 3 this season. I hate that analysis for potential upsets. Like when we break down the whole, it always seems like teams get hot, in March, and this is a team that might maybe get hot despite the fact that they only shot 33% from beyond the arc. That's why they're going to win. I don't like that. I like the rebounding argument better. Boys, can you hear me?
We got you. Can you hear us?
We can hear you. We'll have a little bit of a delay, so we'll try and I'll just give you the floor here to answer the questions however you would like to answer them. And I'll kind of give the floor to both of you. Give me a confidence level. 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high for Nebraska's chances to win their first ever NCAA tournament game tomorrow. I would like to start with the person I used to work with and someone who brought me up in the broadcasting business, Mr. Jack Mitchell. Jack, can you lead the floor here?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to preface this by saying I will be doing this walkie-talkie style from now on. So we'll use over and out.
Excellent.
And over.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I would also probably like a code name so you can work on that. If
Okay.
Nighthawk.
But we'll send it to you and we'll say over. That way there'll be no crosstalk. Okay. So first of all, my confidence level now that Caleb's driving and Johnny's navigating that we'll get to Oklahoma City is gone to about a 4.1 out of 10. You can't do that to me. They're making obscene gestures.
Yeah.
It's not on camera.
Matt, you almost said the S word in the last few minutes. We heard that, by the way. That was inappropriate.
We did. It was drop. My confidence
in the game tomorrow.
You know how people are like, well, my head says, the head and the heart thing, and usually your head says it's going to be bad, but your heart says it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's reversed for me. My head, like you look at the matchup and the reality and Troy compared to who Nebraska's been playing. My head says Nebraska's going to win.
But your heart says they're going to lose?
My heart says, oh, God. My heart it needs some antacid. It's the closer I get to it, like in the middle of the season when we talked about this, guys, like I was like, oh God, they're going to be a 3 or 4 seed or a 2 seed. Like, oh, they're definitely gonna move on. They barely ever lose. And now every day I'm like, oh God. And then I hear things like you were just talking about, like the field of 68 guys putting together some nonsensical argument, but that somehow is still effective on me and gets my blood pressure up about this whole thing.
So where are you at number wise? I don't think you even gave one.
Number wise, I'm a 7.
That was the exact number that I was thinking.
I'm a 7. I'm a 7 right now.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win, Matt. Like they're the better team. I was listening to the morning show today, and Happer was running through a bunch of metrics, and Nebraska is the better team. That's why they're the 4 seed, and that's why Troy is the 13 seed. Honestly, the only real fear is just like, are they gonna do it again? Like that's the only real fear, and that we are making this pilgrimage south, and it would be ruined literally within hours of the first day of the tournament.
It would be a 12-hour, like 12 to 14 hours of actual,
correct,
much of which we'd be sleeping.
Where then we go to the bar afterwards to do the post game, and Jack doesn't even want to talk, and he is miserable, and like we just like, wow, we did all of this for one dumb game
on a sweltering rooftop reading the names of sponsors.
Yeah,
that's what I'll be doing for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, but I'm at a 7, Matt. Over and out.
No, out is it's over.
Oh,
just over.
I'm at a 7, Matt. Over
Blackhawk.
Yeah, Matt's Blackhawk. Josh can be
P-Brain.
Bookworm.
No, P-Brain.
Brain.
Bookworm. That's cool.
Bookworm.
So cool.
All right, J-Man. Oh, sorry, Nighthawk. Have you thought of potentially the celebration wearing off fairly quickly because your brain will move immediately to the round of 32? Or have you kind of thought of, they win this game, we're partying like it's 1995, it does not matter what they do for the rest of the tournament? Have you thought that far?
That's a good question. That's why you're one of the top 10 upcoming radio talents in the Omaha Metro.
That is the biggest hunk of crap. Nighthawk. Over.
ChatGPT gave him that question.
Okay. First of all, I didn't ever say over, so you can't interrupt me and then say over. That's not, you guys do not understand the system.
No.
Okay, but
it's his Gen Z brain
that's a good
showing.
question, Josh. You know me pretty well.
Yeah.
How far do you think I will switch from celebration mode to looking ahead mode? I think it will be not until Friday afternoon.
Okay, so here's usually what happens, Matt. Whenever we do the post-game show, if Nebraska has lost, Jack starts it in the worst mood imaginable and says, I don't want to be here. Caleb, you say some stuff. That's how it pretty much always begins. But by the end of the hour, he's like, you know what? This team could win the whole damn thing. And so I think if they win tomorrow, it will be the opposite, where he will start and he will say, I don't care about anything else in the world. Nebraska just won their first tournament game. By the end of the post-game show, you'll be saying, oh, God, they have to play in 2 days. Are they going to be able to win another one?
Like, if you ask me right now, and I know this won't be true on Friday, but if you ask me right now, I want them to win the first game so bad that it doesn't even sound, I know this will sound stupid on Friday if they win. It doesn't even sound that bad if they would lose the second game.
Yeah.
I feel that way right now.
Can't wait to hear you say that Saturday.
Ask me again. Ask me again on Saturday morning. if they
Vanderbilt
win.
wins with a game-winning buzzer beater.
And then I'll
Thank
be
God.
I'll be on the rooftop sweltering,
Reading advertisements.
mute, telling Caleb to do all the work. And so that's how I am now, though. But no, in terms of I'm excited about the celebration.
Yeah.
Like that is the most exciting thing. I am more excited in this. Most fan bases won't get this, but I know most Nebraska fans are right with me. I am more excited about that moment where they win the first game than I would be about the moment with the second game.
Because
it's
Are you good? Over?
Uh-oh.
Over? Okay, good. Over. That was great. Real quick before I ask you mine. Over. You said over. I'm talking. All right. Over. So back to me. Over. So I first want to say to your statement as somebody who did see and follow a team very closely that had never won an NCAA tournament game until fairly recently, and then watching them win that tournament game. I was very happy when Northwestern basketball beat Vanderbilt. I was celebrating and it was awesome. It was great. I still get mad to this day about them losing in the round of 32 against Gonzaga. So I'm here to spoil it and tell you that, yes, it will be great for a couple of hours probably if they were to win this game. But if they were to lose the round of 32, you would be very, very upset about it. Secondly, I have a question here. What do we call him, Peterson? P-Brain? Or Bookworm?
Bookworm?
Bookworm. Question for you here.
I'm not sure he's there, but you can ask.
Are you there, Bookworm? Bookworm, are you there? Over. Dang it, we lost. Let's go ahead and we're going to take a break here. I think that was some really good answers there from Jack and Josh. We're going to try and do this over 2 segments. I'm very curious as to the dynamic of how Peterson is dealing with this, because for me, and this is just kind of like as a guy who didn't grow up here, who very much has been brought into and adopted and has learned a lot about being a Nebraska fan and then has become a big Nebraska fan. There very much is a line between diehard football fans and diehard Nebraska basketball fans. There definitely is kind of two different, they're all Husker fans, right? They're all together and they all want their teams to win, but there definitely is a difference between being a diehard Nebraska basketball fan and being the diehard football fan. And basketball and both sports have a beautiful way of bringing everybody together in that way. But I would consider Peterson more of a football guy than I would a basketball guy, even though he very much, is a Nebraska basketball fan and does great coverage on the team. I'm curious as to is Josh more so rooting for Nebraska, for the Cornhuskers to win, or is he rooting for his very dear friends in Jack Mitchell and Mike Schaefer, who are diehard day one Nebraska basketball fans? Is he rooting more so for them to find happiness? We will find out if they can reconnect coming up here on Middays with Matt on 1620 and 97.7 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Alrighty, so much for asking that great question to Josh.
It's unanswerable.
Well, definitely is a line in the sand. Not line in the sand in like a bad way, but there definitely is the separation of Nebraska basketball, die hard Nebraska basketball fan and die hard football fan, and they all come together when the teams are winning or even when the teams are losing. But I wanted to ask Josh that question to see his perspective. I think Josh brings unique perspectives on things. But unfortunately, he's in a part of Kansas where there's no internet. So
Which is all of Kansas.
Not all of Kansas. I'm sure Wichita has Wi-Fi.
I travel up and down those highways every fall. It's nothing but sorghum and fake-ass football players.
Whoa!
Prove me wrong, Kansas. Prove me wrong.
I don't think you're wrong.
Bet you can't.
I actually do think you're kind of right. They are fake-ass football players. Last year we fell for the Kansas skate trap of them being good. And then we had that one good Lance Leipold season. We're like, Lance, be the Nebraska football head coach. Look at the turnaround that he's done. And then he's done nothing since then. So I don't think you're wrong. Also, too, I'm sure there's a bunch of JUCO teams you don't like out there. We go to the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally, and they always pick up on the first ring. John emails in, our favorite listener. He goes, remember how Happer told you take bits too long? You're there in regards to the Masters menu for Rory. It sucks. It's a bad Masters menu. Do I have to tell you that? I could go to any golf course in Marco Island, Florida that's got a 19-hole just to have some bacon-wrapped dates and a seared salmon. Can you be creative? And by the way, you said that he probably gave the menu to his wife. Can Poppy be more creative? She probably could end up doing something better than that. That was kind of ridiculous.
Are they talking this week?
Yes. Actually, might be a valid question to ask. Tomorrow I'm very excited. Now I will say,
you're not excited for today?
Well, I love today. Today's great. Every day is an opportunity to be even greater than the day before.
That's exactly right, man.
Right? That's how I approach every day.
Great outlook.
Well, thank you. You have to have it in this industry and working with you, because you always beat me up. I'm kidding.
That's right.
I'm kidding. I love you. I'm actually excited tomorrow because you hear about the people who take days off to watch the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament. Okay. You hear the stories, you hear the people who
vasectomies go up 1,100%.
Some people have some weird surgeries that are going on. My dad used to run like a team. He used to run a team at US Bank. And so he was the boss. He just decided to, he made the decisions. They did not work on Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament. They showed up to work, but they didn't work. What they did was they showed up to work and they would have the big conference room. They would bring in a bunch of TVs and order a gobsmack of sandwiches. And the entire team, who was supposed to be doing the taxes for the pension fund of Pennsylvania, would go ahead and just be watching, Lehigh try and take down the mighty Kansas. Okay. That's how he spent his NCAA tournaments. I have never done that before. I've never been in a position where I can just take days off or not have the day to work. And I ended up just sitting down and watching basketball games tomorrow. I'm doing that. I'm doing that tomorrow. I cannot wait. It's probably the most excited I've been to have a day off. I do have a complaint about it, though.
Okay. A complaint about America's perfect sporting event.
Yes.
Please.
Why does Nebraska have to play the very first game, basically, of the tournament? They actually played the second game. So if you're looking at the tip times, and we're looking at them for you, Ohio State and TCU tip off at 12:15. By the way, that's going to be a hell of a game.
Do you want to get that win out of the way? Or do you want to let that loss fester?
That is the issue, okay? How am I supposed to enjoy Vanderbilt and McNeese at 3:15? 2:15, actually. If after that, I'm coming off of a brutal Nebraska loss. How am I supposed to deal with my emotions? Right? There's no way that I'm going to be able, even to the 6:30 game between St. Mary's and Texas A&M, which, by the way, hammer St. Mary's in that game. I love the Gales in that game. I just think St. Mary's is better than Texas A&M, had a stronger non-con, did better in that stronger non-con. Texas A&M's bread and butter. Do you know what it is? Offensive rebounding. Do you know who's one of the best defensive rebounding teams in the country? The St. Mary's Gales. All right, come on. 2.5, -2.5. Seriously, for St. Mary's, 7 versus 10 seed. Are we really going to go ahead and freak out because of a West Coast team? We don't think that one of the best teams in the West Coast Conference can end up beating a middling team in the SEC? Are you joking me?
It's a 3-bid league.
Are you joking me? Really? 2.5? 2.5 for St. Mary's? That's a joke. Bet St. Mary's. Anyway, I'm not going to be excited for that game. If it's at 6:30 and Nebraska's coming off of
Thursday's ruined for
Thursday is there's
potentially
nothing I want.
Friday.
I don't think there's a potentially Friday. I think Friday's ruined.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole weekend is ruined if Nebraska loses tomorrow. For me, why can't they play at like 3:25 on Friday? That would have been the perfect tip-off time.
Really?
They play
waiting a day and a half?
3:20. Yes, because you get the full day to just sit down, get in the groove of the NCAA tournament. Right? Get into the motion with the ocean. You know? Just feel it. Feel the waves. Really soak it in. Get really good basketball. Buzzer beaters. A lot of time. Like if Nebraska's coming off of a loss, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care. Also, too, 11-4, like, I was having a conversation with a buddy of potentially going down to Lincoln to watch the game. And I'm like, our thing was like, man, we would really like to experience Lincoln when they win their first NCAA tournament game, if that were to happen. How many people are really going to be out and about in downtown Lincoln during this game that aren't college students that are very annoying? All the college kids will be out there. If you're going to class tomorrow, really, you're going to go to, do they have, I hope Nebraska gave their students the day off or the classes off. I really hope they did or something. Or maybe, can you imagine, this is your opportunity to be the cool teacher. For all you professors out there who are listening to Middays with Matt, some do in the College of Journalism, okay, because they're big fans of us. If you're a professor at a university right now, just in general, you have a prime opportunity to go ahead and grab the title of coolest prof in the college. Just be like, hey, boys and girls, the NCAA tournament is going on. I don't want to do anything but watch these basketball games. No class tomorrow. Read pages 532 to 549. We'll have a quiz on Monday. Thank you very much. Enjoy your Jersey Mike sandwiches.
Alex tweets into the show.
On the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed.
That's right. Getting game one on Thursday is the best option.
No, it's not.
The possible disappointment is much better than the constant illness and buildup. He sounds like a guy like you that pukes before every big game.
I will not be puking tomorrow.
You will not be puking. Okay,
No.
so it's not a big game tomorrow.
No, that's not true. It's a very big game tomorrow. I just don't have, I don't know. I can't fake a puke. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't.
Paul tweets in that it's spring break for Nebraska.
Oh, good for them. I'm sure the kids will love watching the game in Arizona. Their kids are spring breaking nowadays. Arizona spring break, man. Get yourself an Airbnb with a nice little in-ground pool. Every Airbnb's got an in-ground pool in Arizona, so it doesn't cost that much. All right.
Sounds like you kids have a lot more money than we did back in our day.
First off, things cost way less back in your day. All right. I saw.
Yet we had no money.
Okay, but you didn't need money. Taco Bell tacos cost 70 cents.
Oh.
All right. You could get a junior chalupa combo for $3.50.
Let me tell you.
Nowadays it's $12.99.
You could saddle up to the potato bar with Michael Severe for 99 cents.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Right? You guys used to fill up gas for 89 cents on the gallon. If I were to travel to Oklahoma City, it probably cost me over $300 to drive.
I was told gas is going to get cheaper. It's fine.
It's not cheaper. Jet fuel isn't cheap either. The flights are going up too.
Yeah, all these NCAA tournament planes going wheels up. Why don't some of you drive? Help out America.
Is that what you're telling them? Is that what you want to tell the NCAA tournament?
I think
team?
Troy should have to drive to Oklahoma City.
Hey, Sienna, congratulations on making your first ever NCAA tournament. Here's a big old van.
Get a 15 passenger.
That's
enough.
Hey, Sienna, do you mind keeping the receipts?
Yeah.
You want to staple that all together? Send it to us. Send us a fax. We'll reimburse you 3 months later.
Itemized receipts.
Yes.
None of this general receipt stuff.
Yeah, having the company card for the first time in my life was quite the responsibility. At no point did I ask, hey, can we get a non-itemized receipt? I wasn't that
But you were getting bacon wrapped dates and carpaccio.
Oh, I thought you actually looked at the receipts. No, I got a bottle of water and a hot dog.
Cost you $23.50 in Chicago.
Dude, it actually cost me $22 for 2 bottles of water.
That's disgusting.
It's called the United Center. It is disgusting. It is the worst. What's disgusting and the worst is the prospect of Nebraska losing tomorrow. I don't think it's going to happen. But like, why couldn't they have just played a team that didn't expose one of their weaknesses? Right? Why couldn't they just play a team that was normal? Because Troy is not a normal team. Okay, like for Sunbelt standards, the way that the roster is built with 4 guys who are 6'7" plus, along with the fact that they crash 5 to the offensive boards and play 5 out and fill the corners really well and have a lot of good weak side actions. Like, why? Why couldn't they just play a team that was just like, all right, they play the same way we do, kind of. We're just going to go ahead and be better than them.
Well, I'll tell you, if they had not completely let it run down their leg down the stretch, they'd be a 3 seed and would be playing an easier batch of teams.
I've avoided that conversation because I didn't want to be the guy that was moving the goalpost on Nebraska basketball. And I will never be that guy because I will always harken back to the fact that this team was selected to finish 14th in the Big Ten and that they have the coach of the year. And a lot of guys took steps that we did not anticipate. Like, obviously, Sanford is the easy one to point at. Like, oh, I didn't think that guy who couldn't even start on a bad Iowa team would end up being an all Big Ten first teamer. But even like Sam Hoiberg has gotten a lot better. And it wasn't like he was good last year. And he's gotten a lot better as a basketball player. Like, right. I'm not going to take all of that for granted. They had a prime opportunity, not only to be a 3, Josh, they could have been a 2. Like, especially 2 with how much the Big Ten tournament impacted seeding. Let's be real here. Purdue might have been like a back half 3, potentially a 4 seed before they got to the Big Ten tournament. They parlayed that into being a 2. Okay? Like, if Nebraska had won 1 or 2 more games, they could have easily been a 3, and maybe they could have been the one being a 2. But even you got to think of like the 20-point loss at UCLA and the loss against Iowa, where they just played bad basketball, and the fact that they couldn't close out against Michigan. Look, there are valid excuses to be had, but you definitely do look back on the season and been like, damn, it's a little disappointing that they have to play a legitimate 14 seed that a lot of people are picking for them to lose to.
But beat Troy and
we don't care.
Yeah, like nothing matters before or even after it.
I'm not buying the Vandy hype. I really do think that they'll be able to beat Vandy. I don't want people to start looking at Vandy as a potential matchup where you're like, holy crap, this could be bad. Like, I think they'll be able to do that. Letzker goes, I was told by bracketology experts that nothing changes after Thursday. They were wrong. They were so wrong. And we'll tell you why, because we'll break that down and the bracket and the best bets and upsets to look for here at 1 o'clock on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, some news here for the NCAA tournament. Mikael Brown Jr. of Louisville, one of the better players in the country, 18.2 points per game and 4.7 assists for the Cardinals. He is officially out for Louisville's game against the University of Southern Florida. The Bulls are one of the bigger upsets that are being picked from teams even before the Brown injury. This South Florida team has won 11 straight games. And has been playing some really, really good defense. They're ranked 22nd in Bark Torvik's defensive efficiency ratings. And this is a Louisville team that unfortunately for Louisville and also unfortunately for Vandy, I've just caught them this year when they've played bad basketball. I don't know what it is. Like, you watch your team the most. You probably then watch teams that are a threat within your conference the second most. Then you watch top teams across the country the third, and then you get a spot 1 or 2 games of each kind of power team that's pretty decent across the country. If you're a big college basketball fan, would you say that's an accurate breakdown?
I'd say it's a very accurate breakdown.
I've watched 30 Nebraska games. I've watched about 7 Michigan games. I've watched about 6 Illinois games. I've watched a lot of 8 or 9 Purdue games. MSU, I've watched about 4 or 5. I've watched Wisconsin about 5 or 6 times. I've watched Duke play plenty, right? Because they're a top team. I've watched Gonzaga play, Iowa State play. But unfortunately, Louisville and Vandy have fallen into I've seen them play twice each. The 2 games I saw Vandy play were the one where they got ran out of the building by Arkansas. And then I saw them play the game where they got beaten in overtime by Florida, where the defense for Vanderbilt, and especially their ability to guard within the paint, was tough. Now, Vanderbilt's an interesting team where, they're not overly big. They don't have a 7-footer or anything like that, but they do have a fairly athletic team that if Nebraska were to play them in the second round, I'm telling you this right now, Nebraska were to play against Vanderbilt in the second round, I think it would be a hell of a game. I think it would be a war. I think it'd be a battle. I think it would be close. I think it'd be very entertaining. I wouldn't, that's not a game I would predict. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say, hey, I think Nebraska's going to win, or I'm predicting Nebraska to win. I wouldn't, I just don't like predicting games where I'm not confident in the outcome. I'm not confident in what that outcome would be between Vanderbilt and Nebraska. I don't, though, agree with the idea that Vanderbilt would kill them. I just don't, Nebraska hasn't gotten killed this year. They really haven't gotten killed. They okay. UCLA, 20-point loss, West Coast road trip. Admittingly, yes, I'm aware of that. Okay, but that's one game out of the 31 that they've played. The Purdue game, they were down double digits for a lot of it. I think there's a difference between getting killed and getting stiff armed. Okay, there's a difference. I love using stiff-armed as that's how I describe a game where a team is leading from 8 to 12 the entirety of the time. Yeah. And that's what Purdue was doing. They were leading from 12 to 15 the entire time. Nebraska cut it to 8. People forget. And then we had let's just talk about it. Jared Garcia had one of the worst stretches of basketball that I've ever seen in quite some time in that Purdue game. I mean, they were down 8. They come down the other side. Purdue does a great job of hunting that matchup between Braden Smith and Jared Garcia. Smith gets Garcia jumping for joy, draws the foul, hits 2 free throws, up 10, other side of the floor, 3-point attempt by Garcia in the corner. I wonder why you're wide open, Jared. I wonder why. I wonder why nobody is standing 30 feet from you. That's a real curious thought. Well, I know why. Because they're totally fine with you taking that shot. And you took way too many of them. He had the Juwan Gary syndrome of making the first 3 of the game, and then wasted 5 more possessions for Nebraska after that because he thought, I can hit these now. Now he ended up hitting 1 more, which good for him. But misses that 3 in the corner, comes back on the other side, still down 10. Purdue got the ball, shoots it, hits Garcia in the hands, doesn't catch it. Offensive rebound, Boilermakers, thrown to the corner, 3-pointer hit. You go from 8-point deficit to a 13-point deficit, and all the momentum in the United Center shifted back towards the Boilermakers, and that was the game. Will they have to play Garcia a lot tomorrow? He's going to play. I don't know how much. Now, I'm curious. Fred loves that Kale, Garcia, Bearcay, Lawrence, Price, Sanford lineup. And it is at times very effective. It's effective defensively. I'll give him that. Defensively, like if Nebraska's up, I wouldn't mind them putting that lineup in. But if Nebraska's trailing, which Nebraska was during that point, that lineup cannot be played tomorrow because you're relying on fluke 3-pointers potentially from Bearcay. You just can't have Bearcay. You cannot run the offense that they want to run and have Bearcay and Garcia out on the floor together. There, I said it. You just can't for an extended period of time and think it's going to be effective. Now, they were lucky enough when they ran those lineups. Garcia did hit a 3. Bearcay hit a shot. Like they've actually plus minus. It is a good lineup, but the longer that lineup plays, it feels like the worse it is for them. If they're up like 8 or 9, though, I don't mind that lineup because it's a great defensive lineup. But I think tomorrow, it obviously it's just going to all come down to rebounds. Now, the under, I really like. The total is 137.5, if I'm not mistaken. Troy, so I don't know what Troy is in the nation. I don't know like what their pace of play is like nationally. I can tell you that in the tournament, it actually is the 10th slow. They're the 10th slowest team in the tourney that's playing. So 137 over under is the total. Nebraska, we mentioned before, I think like 112th is their offensive efficiency since their first loss of the season, which occurred against Michigan in Ann Arbor. I kind of like the under for this game. I also like Troy plus 13.5. One bet I really do like in a game that I have full confidence that St. John's is going to beat Northern Iowa, but Northern Iowa is the 3rd slowest team in the country. They average 65 possessions per game. They're 362nd out of 365 teams in pace of play this season, yet they're very good at playing, and they're very efficient when they play. St. John's isn't very fast. They're 71 in pace of play this season. A lot of people would go ahead and I think they would start fishing for the over-under, like, hey, what's the total? And is there a way that this is like a slobber knocker 58-52 game because there's not going to be a ton of possessions? I actually more so like gravitate towards Northern Iowa plus 10.5.
Troy's about 113th in pace of play.
Okay. 113th in pace of play, but 10th slowest in the tournament. But with Northern Iowa taking on St. John's, like I think plus 10.5 in a game that will have as many limited possessions in this one is like being plus 15.5 in a regular game. You know, does that like if that kind of makes sense? Like that's just a lot of points to be given when just there's really going to be a limited amount of like points to score. And so it's interesting too with Troy. I think the thing, like, we're obviously hammering home their ability to offensive rebound, and that definitely is a big reason as to why people are kind of and also too, people, let's be real here, guys. You look at Nebraska, they haven't beaten that many tournament teams since the Indiana game. Indiana, by the way, wasn't even a tournament team. USC, not even a tournament team. You know, that they ended up beating. You know, what Iowa was a 9 seed. Now, granted, they've played close games, but if you go and look at like Nebraska's most recent run, haven't been the highest quality of teams. So I think that people are factoring that in there, along with the fact that Troy exposes one of the weaknesses that teams have been able to take advantage of when they go ahead and beat Nebraska. But Troy's offense is not efficient in the slightest. So they play, they shoot the 3 ball a lot. At the same time, they're 219th nationally in 3-point percentage. Like they're willing, like their 3-point attempt rate is fairly high. Actually have that. I've written that down here. Their 3-point attempt rate this season is 54th in the country. Yet their 3-point percentage is 219th. That's terrible. That's awful. That's part of the reason why their efficiency number overall, according to Ken Palm, is 152 on offense. So It's one of those things as well where it's like this is a team that is willing to shoot the 3-point ball and they play 5 out and they fill the corners very well, but they don't hit it at a very high rate. Also, as well, something to keep in factor. Everybody knows that Nebraska loves to shoot the 3-point ball. Troy very good at defending the 3-point shot. 31.3% is what opponents are averaging against Troy from the 3-point line. That's 43rd in the country. Definitely something to keep an eye out. So, but I really like in terms of bets that I'm looking at and games that I'm very interested in, St. Mary's -2.5, I think, is free money. This Texas A&M team is not one of the best teams in the SEC. They're a 10 seed for a reason. They rely on getting to the offensive boards. They rely on getting second chance points. They rely on getting opportunity, second opportunities to score. St. Mary's is awesome at defensive rebounding this season. They're one of the best defensive rebounding percentage teams in the country. On top of that, one of these, especially when you're picking these games that are like -2.5, which basically might as well, I mean, you're kind of playing a money line game a little bit there. Like, can they close down the stretch? We see this so much in the NCAA tournament where teams are up and they're white knuckling, right? And like, you got like the stakes have never been higher. The pressure has never been more on top of you. You're, up 6 with a minute 14 left to go. And this isn't one of those, January games in the ACC where they're going to stop extending the game when you're up 8 with 30 seconds. Like teams are going to keep following you and you have to keep making free throws. And we've seen, you want to win in the NCAA tournament, make your free throws. St. Mary's 81% this season from the free throw line. Another important thing to mention, too, that Troy does get to the free throw line a ton. So it's going to be defense the key tomorrow for Nebraska, especially contesting without fouling will be very important. But I really like the St. Mary's game. I really like Northern Iowa +10.5. Big fan, especially with Mikael Brown Jr. out for Louisville. Right now, trading over the counter, if you go to DraftKings, it's +3.5 for South Florida. It's won 11 games in a row and has some elite guard play throughout this tournament. There's a reason why they're one of the more sexy picks to be had in the upset pool, 11 over a 6. Now, I do want to remind everybody, you're going to be reading a ton of articles that are going to convince you to be in love with the double-digit seed, upsetting a single-digit seed and whatnot. Don't pick all of them. They are not all going to happen, okay? We see it too many times. We see all these different articles that are kind of like cherry-picking the stats they want you to know and not really acknowledging that some teams are just straight up better than other teams, especially in the first. I mean, how many times are we like, oh, the pace of play and this and that or whatever? Well, St. John's is just bigger and longer than you, so it doesn't really matter. Like they're just going to beat you, right?
They will stuff you in a locker.
So it's one of those things where it's like, don't fall in love with the double-digit seed. Like, pick the ones you really are confident in, and then don't forget to fade yourself. I am a little nervous, though, about a team that I have in the Final Four, and it has no basketball sense to do with it. I told people a couple of weeks ago that I liked Arkansas +1,300 to make the Final Four. I told people before the SEC tournament that Arkansas +600 is a team to look out for because they have March is all about guard play. We're going to say it over and over and over again. It's one of our top cliches when we talk about March Madness. That and, the white point guard from a mid-major school you never heard of who hits all the three-pointers you could ever think of. Okay, that guy too. Shout out Jack-Wagon. It's a cliche. It's a cliche because it's true. We saw it last year, guys. Walter Creighton with Florida and the run that he went on was insane. And the reason why, along with just them being so well coached, Todd Golden, such a stud, the Florida ended up winning the national championship. Saw Arkansas play Missouri. It's not as if Arkansas had been great on the road this year either. Really impressed with how they won, and they won without a cuff. And John Calipari has a really good team in terms of size and athleticism. They play super hard, and then they, on top of them playing super hard and playing smart, they also have an incredible shot maker, Darius Acuff Jr. I loved this 3 weeks ago. I now hate that they're everybody's sleeper to get to the Final Four. Like, I don't like it when the dark horse becomes popular. Then it's no longer a dark horse. Then everybody's jinxing them. You get what I'm saying here?
It's a white horse.
Yes, it is. It's a gray horse. Gray horses are the best, by the way.
Oh.
You ever see a gray horse? I just bet on it. I see a gray horse, go bet the grays. I took that from Dave Portnoy. I do, but I still do it. It works.
Okay.
You see a gray pony, money, easy.
I'm going to take your word for it on this one.
I forget. I think the name of the horse that won the Virginia. I didn't watch the Virginia Derby, but I think it's like Thunderbolton or something like that.
Good name.
Gonna compete against Paladin in the Kentucky Derby. Watch out for that. But Arkansas is a team. I think they'll get to the Final Four. I'm not straying off of that. I also think there's an equal chance that they end up losing to Hawaii. Like, I think there is as good of a shot that Arkansas makes the Final Four as they do losing in the first round to Hawaii. And it really comes down to the matchup. You think the rebounding disparity is bad between Troy and Nebraska? You should look at the rebounding disparity between Arkansas and Hawaii. It's disgusting. Jakey's got it. Incredible. That's what the horse's name is. Incredible.
Oh, great horse name.
Isn't that awesome? That sounds like the cousin of Mr. Incredible. Anyway, Arkansas versus Hawaii. Gonna be a war. That's gonna be a really, really good game. One more game that I'll get to you. I don't like the team, but it's a good argument for them. Miami is going to play Missouri in St. Louis. Okay? That's tough. Yeah, I'll just be real with you. That's a really tough draw. That is a oof. You know what I'm saying? Oof. It's like playing
that's like Houston being the 2 seed and playing the 1 seed in Houston.
Here's the issue, though. Why does this happen with a 10 seed? If I'm a 7 seed, I shouldn't have to be playing a 10 basically at home court. You know, it's like when they did this BS and they put Wisconsin and Milwaukee when they were a 3 playing Colgate. Colgate had no shot in hell at beating Wisconsin and Milwaukee. Now, Iowa State ended up beating Wisconsin and Milwaukee. That was a beautiful sight to see. Oh my God. Isaiah Brockington. You remember that guy? Remember that guy, Isaiah Brocker? I think it was Brockerton or Brockington. And he was a stud. I sat next to his parents at that game. Seeing Wisconsin lose in Milwaukee was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. It was gorgeous. Can't stand the Badgers. But anyway, Missouri plays Miami in St. Louis. Miami is 8-2 this season in true road games. Got a guy named Malik Renew. Ever heard of him? Pretty much a stud. I think that's going to be a very interesting game between those two teams. I think it's going to be probably one of the more competitive games that is going to happen. I don't like Missouri. I just think they've had an incredibly. It's one of those. I'm just fading the middling SEC teams. Just get them out of here. I have no want. Strategy. I have no care for them. They don't threaten me. I think they just benefit more so out of us rating the SEC so high, and they have some quality wins here and there that are able to elevate them into an NCAA tournament pool that has never been weaker at the bubble. I think that, funny enough, like the 9 seed that threatens me the most is the one that apparently has to play, that might end up having to play Duke, and that's TCU, because that is a team that actually has beaten some really high quality teams. We're going to go ahead. We're going to talk about some more brackets. I did a fun thing on Twitter, and I want to read it for all of us. Is it a trusted source? Not really. But I think it's a fun thing to do. And people still
we love reporting rumors.
Yes. Exclusive content, too, that nobody else can get. We also want to tell you that this is exclusive, that only you can get because you're listening to the show and that you're hearing this. We want to send you to the Omaha Supernovas. What? All right? You want to go? 1620 Zone's got you covered. Supernovas host Grand Rapids March 20th at 7 p.m. at the CHI Health Center, Omaha. Listen all week to Happer and Schaefer, who have to work tomorrow and Friday. Losers! Do you know what Josh and I are going to do? In separate homes away from each other, are going to both be eating sandwiches, drinking Miller Lights.
Well, I'll be here eating a sandwich and drinking Miller Lite. I have work to do.
Are you a Miller Lite guy?
Yeah.
God.
It's triple hops brewed.
What you mean? It's 96 calories, 3.2 carbs, great taste, and less filling.
That's right.
God, you know it's only one more calorie than Michelob. God, please sponsor us. Look at me. Please sponsor us, Miller Lite, please. What a fine Pilsner you are.
Bet you won't, cowards.
Cowards. Hey, but listen all week to Happer and Schaefer, who have to work this week, to go to the Omaha Supernovas game on March 20th at the CHI Health Center. Coming up next, we'll do some fun Twitter things here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Robin Washut has a nice tweet.
Is
For
he in
Nebraska-
OKC?
Yes, for Nebraska fans and OKC fans are invited to send the Huskers off to their NCAA tournament opener from the team hotel on Thursday morning.
Ain't getting me in there.
The Skirvin Hotel at One Park Avenue from 9 to 9:15 is where you can go in Oklahoma City
Haunted.
to go ahead. It is a haunted hotel, apparently, to go and send the team off. Probably a great place to get exclusive content or maybe hear a rumor or two. So maybe the hotel would be the place for a lot of people around here to go and send the team off.
Dan, I'm going to do a little research here.
Go ahead and do some research.
By the end of this segment, I'm going to find out what the deal with this haunted hotel is.
Shout out to our ghost dog who's been giving us picks and having us win a lot of money over the last week. But Josh and I have gotten a man to give us his picks, and he is really good at gambling.
The ghost of Effie is said to roam the 10th floor.
The ghost of Effie?
Yeah. Effie.
Effie? Oh my God, that's such an old name.
I know, right? That's how you know it's real.
How many people were named Effie in 2026? Effie name popularity chart. Let's see here. Effie name, baby name popularity by statistics. If I had to guess, there's probably 4 people who were named Effie. Oh my God, there was a big spurt of Effies in 2015. 11 people were named Effie. Why the? Oh, okay, cool. We have a caller. Did I tell him to do that? Okay. Oh, that Jack. Okay, that Jack. All right, one second before we get there. How many people do you think were named Effie in 2026?
2026?
Yes.
I don't know, 14?
0.
Oh.
You want to guess how many were named?
Are these new babies or existing humans?
You want to guess how many babies were named in 2023? The name Effie?
Couple thousand.
0.
0?
You want to guess how many people in 2021 were named Effie?
I'll go 0 again.
0. In 2015, 11 kids were named Effie. Why was there a spurt? But like, dating, dude, Ghost of Effie. There's like nobody named Effie according to the global rank. Oh, wait. I'm trying to find the global rank. Can't find it. Anyway, that's scary. That's some scary stuff. Yes, go ahead. Give it to me.
In January 2019, Kyrie Irving announced that he was producing a feature film about the paranormal activity at the hotel.
Get him out of that hotel. Get him out of that hotel right now. Kyrie's around there. That's a bad juju going on.
It was pre-COVID.
Oh, Riss. I believe this is Josh's wife. I don't know anybody else named Riss who would text in to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, Riss, how you doing?
Hi.
Go Eagles. EAGLES Eagles. It's because of Hunger. Okay, I have a complaint here.
Oh yeah. There was a character named Effie in the Hunger Games.
Effie Trinket was in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't like about this, Riss. Let me tell you something. I don't like it when people
got to take.
No. I don't like it when people text me something and then they go, comma, Matt. She goes, it's because of the Hunger Games, Matt. You know what I'm saying? You pick it up when I'm dropping down here, Josh. I don't like it when people do that.
I mean,
because it comes off a little like,
not really.
He's like, Matt, it's because of the Hunger Games, Matt. I know you're talking to me. I know my name. You don't got to tell me my name. I know what my name is. It's a bit of you're exuding a little attitude over the text. You know, it's like, it's because of the Hunger Games, bud.
You would fit in so well in like New York City. Just everything is a slight against you.
It is a slight. It is a slight. Yeah, it's because of the Hunger Games, Matt. All right, Ritz, thanks. I appreciate it.
But it would be okay if she said, hey, Matt, it's because of the Hunger Games.
Yes. Hey, Matt, how are you? So good to hear from you. Because of the Hunger Games. Are you regretting your decision to be my co-host right now?
I want to know what 40-year-old Matt's going to be like, because it's either going to get worse or it's going to get better.
J-Man goes, what's up, Matt? Now this is going to turn into a joke.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's going to end every text
with Matt. I don't think I'm wrong here. I don't think I'm incorrect here. By the way, Effie, what a stupid name.
Whoa. That's
Dumb.
someone's name.
I don't care.
Nobody listening to this show, but
Well, there's only about 18 of them in the world, according to our research.
Also, probably not a good idea to like openly mock a ghost.
Me? I'm not. Effie
The ghost's name is Effie.
Effie ain't in Omaha. She's in OKC. Effie,
Do you think she could get to you by haunting the Nebraska basketball team and causing you great pain Thursday morning?
I don't know. Gas is really expensive. I don't know if Effie can make it. I mean, Effie would have to be in a car and have to have the AM radio and be within like a 5-mile radius for her to hear this. So, much greater than that, like a 100-mile radius. But anyway, regardless, no, I don't think she can hear this. Someone who can hear this is on line 1. It's on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. It's my friend Jack. Hi, Jack. How are you?
How's it going, Matt?
It's great to hear from you.
Hit the road, heading to Oklahoma City, ready for a big Husker win this weekend. A couple of them, I hope.
You went to Memphis, correct? The last time that you saw Nebraska play in the NCAA tournament, you were at that Memphis game, right?
That is true. We drove till 4 a.m. driving to Memphis.
Right. I didn't ask for your life story, and I didn't ask for a brag. I just asked you if you went. Real quick, Jack, how are the vibes different from this trip down to this NCAA tournament game compared to the last one?
Well, I'm feeling a little bit happier, or I feel like we're having a higher chance of winning. I already bought my tickets for Saturday, so I hope I didn't jinx us by doing that, but tomorrow,
it's probably
a big win.
It's probably a terrible financial investment if they don't win. I don't think anybody would really want to watch Troy play Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. My thought was, we got A&M and Houston there. They're both within drivable distance. Hopefully someone will buy the tickets. And
good point.
If we do win, I have a feeling that a lot of Husker fans will be coming down Saturday. People that didn't want to take off work but want to see the game. So
do you have a take?
Shoot through the roof even more.
Do you have a take on the game? You nervous about anything?
I'm a little bit nervous. I was pretty confident going into Memphis 2 years ago, so I'm not going to make that same mistake again. But just stay level-headed and cheer loud, I guess.
Are we on speaker right now?
You are, yes. Yeah.
Emmy, how are you? How you doing, Emmy?
Hi, Matthew.
Great to hear from you. You know more basketball than Jack does. Is there anything that freaks you out about this game? She's a referee in Lincoln basketball.
Emmy, an okay name. Effie, bad name.
Effie, terrible name. Okay. Emmy, do you have anything that you're nervous about for the game tomorrow?
I would just say rebounding, Matt.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great take by you. Always with better takes than Jack. Emmy on line 1. Appreciate you both. Have a safe drive. Enjoy the OKC food.
Get it, go. All
right, cool. Thanks for calling in, Jack. That was my friend, my very good friend, my very dear friend, Jack. I'm going to be officiating their wedding.
Oh, congrats.
I now pronounce you husband and ball knower.
That's how you should do it.
Dude, Emmy knows ball. Jack is a pylon.
Oh, no.
He is. He's one of those football men who's trying to talk basketball. I give him credit, though. He's handling it well. He's persevering. We go to the text line. I'm in Hastings, and I'm listening to the new 97.7 FM, Matt.
Look what you started.
Did I hear an ELGLES Eagles? Matt?
Oh, did you spell it wrong?
Did I?
I don't
think I did.
I don't know.
I almost called the head coach of Troy basketball the former head coach of Husker football.
You did a couple of times. Not while you were talking to him, which is good.
Yeah, I was really nervous talking to him. I was like, don't screw up his name.
I heard he was nervous talking to you too.
I was really,
that was the rumor.
Is that the rumor you were hearing?
The rumor I'm hearing.
Yeah, we should put that on the air.
I'm ready to report.
That's a hell of a rumor that you're hearing. I was more nervous about pissing him off than pissing off Effie the ghost. 429-516-20 is the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. We're slowly wrapping up the show here. Our ghost dog did, though, give us a pick. It is not an underdog, so we can't use it for dog of the day. Our ghost dog doesn't understand that we can't use picks that are minus money. But I agree with our ghost dog. I think it's a hell of a pick. He has Miami of Ohio +7. I do want to mention this about Miami of Ohio before we hit our break here. They're playing SMU tonight. SMU's lost 5 of their last 6 games. BJ Edwards is one of their better players. He's a guard. He should be back in action tonight. They've missed him greatly, the Mustangs have. Miami of Ohio, though, still the number 1 shooting team in the country. 52.4% from the field is Miami of Ohio. They also are awesome for three-point range, 39.2%. They're being given 7.5 points. So that's a lot. I think SMU is going to win the game. I don't think Texas is going to win another game in the NCAA tournament. It'll be I believe they play BYU, correct, Josh?
Who's playing BYU?
Texas.
Yes, that's
Texas,
correct.
Yeah, Texas played BYU. That'll be an interesting game. I think AJ Dibanska, though, is good enough to win one game for BYU. But at the same time, I think SMU definitely has a shot at winning another game in the NCAA tournament. They beat Miami of Ohio tonight. We're going to go to the Prairie Fire Casino hotline real quick for Jeff. We got like 45 seconds to go a minute, Jeff. What do you got?
Okay, I'll just tell you, I've seen every game we ever played in the tournament, and we've already tried the late afternoon Friday game.
Mm-hmm.
Played New Mexico State in '93, and we lost by about 20. We even wore special black uniforms, which were really cool, just so you know.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Didn't know that.
You bet.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Okay, cool. Just some program
A
information.
succinct caller.
Can you imagine
I respect
having
it.
a quick thought that affects the programming in a positive way that educates the audience? People who call in a big red overreaction need to take notes from
Well,
Jeff.
big red overreaction is a little different.
Good point.
You got to tell people how long you've been listening to Husker games.
Are we the closest?
You got to tell people what you had to drink throughout the day.
No, you don't tell them what you had to drink. We could just guess what you
We'll
had
just
to drink.
guess, yeah.
He's had about 14 beers easily. Probably a couple martinis to sprinkle in there as well. Hey, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. And talking about games beginning tomorrow, games are already starting on 1620thezone.com. Not basketball, but it's the Omaha Food Fight, which is presented by Union Bank and Trust. This round of 64 is on their way. We're cutting it off today. Today is the last day to vote for the round of 64. Then we're cutting the field in half. It's in half. It goes to 32, which actually will go through the weekend. So go ahead and vote for the Omaha Food Fight presented by Union Bank and Trust right now. And then go ahead and vote starting tomorrow in the round of 32. Coming up next, we'll give you a dog of the day and what to watch this weekend because it's our Friday, baby, here on 1620 The Zone.
Stibbs is a psycho.
Middays with Matt.
Dude, it is our Friday on a Wednesday. I don't think I've had like a true 4-day weekend where I'm not taking like a flight anywhere in like 13 years. I think it's
Just
been
sit in your own filth for 4 days.
Dude, it's been like since 8th grade since I've had a true 4-day weekend.
Well, that was just a couple years ago.
13.
The audience was thinking it. I had to say it, Matt. I didn't want to say it.
Do math. It would have been 9 years. I was in 8th grade 9 years ago.
Am I supposed to feel sorry for you that was a long time ago?
No, I just missed like the Christmas parties.
The junior high Christmas
Dude,
parties?
there was nothing more rocking than the Valentine's Day party in 6th grade at Queen of All Saints Elementary.
Okay, let's go.
That was hype. I'll never get that moment back. But
that's what they say is one of the worst parts of getting old is you don't have your 6th grade Valentine's Day party.
You don't have it anymore. You don't get to like be like, oh, will Megan Tessier be my Valentine?
Did she?
No. Does your lawn need a makeover? Have you been dreaming about your own backyard oasis? Well, sounds like you need an outdoor upgrade, and we've teamed up with Roberts Nursery Landscape and Lawn to give you a shot at $10,000 backyard makeover. Here's what they offer: patios, outdoor kitchens, water features, fireplaces and fire pits, retaining walls, landscaping, paragolas. They also have a nursery for your green thumbs. Hurry to 1620thezone.com and register for your chance to win a $10,000 outdoor upgrade from Roberts Nursery Landscape and Lawn. Josh Odson, what are we watching this week?
We're watching the first 4.
Yes, we are.
Prairie View A&M against Lehigh Classic Battle, 5:40 on True TV.
Yeah, throw out the record books.
That's right.
Throw them out.
Right here on 1620 The Zone as well. Miami of Ohio takes on SMU at 8:15 on True TV and 1620 The Zone. The women's tournament gets underway. First 4 in Durham has some local interest. Nebraska takes on Richmond for the right to call themselves the real 11 seed. 6 o'clock on ESPN2. Winner plays Baylor on Friday. NBA doubleheader on ESPN. Warriors Celtics at 6, followed by Lakers Rockets at 8:30. TNT has the NHL tonight. Battle for the tri-state area, I guess.
What is this, Phineas
Devils
and Ferb?
Rangers.
Oh my God.
6 o'clock. And then
Battle for the tri-state.
pretty good one out west. Stars and Avalanche. At the
Very
Big
good
Mason
one.
Jar.
Oh, look at that.
8:30. Baseball, Wichita State against Nebraska here in about 15 minutes on ESPN Plus. And then the Dodge Derby between Omaha and Creighton, 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Or listen to John Bishop call the game on Yacht Rock 1180.
Wow.
And finally, on Roku, if you have that, Super Bowl champions, the 2025 Seattle Seahawks. Narrated by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the documentary looks back at the Seahawks season through game broadcast footage, including extended highlights of Seattle's victory in the Super Bowl.
Have you seen the new Spider-Man trailer?
I have.
Trammell Tillman's in it.
The guy from the show that everyone likes.
Severance?
Yeah.
Dude's sick.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
Well, we have to tell you that our Ghost Dog has told us to tell you to bet Miami of Ohio plus 7.5 tonight, but that is not a dog pick. What is a dog pick is happening tomorrow between the Louisville Cardinals and University of Southern Florida Bulls. Mikael Brown Jr. not going to play. Best player for Louisville not going to play tomorrow. The line has not moved plus 3.5 for South Florida. That's at plus 108. If you want to go plus 3.5, let's just go money line plus 186 for South Florida to take down the Louisville Cardinals in an 11-6 upset. Dog in the NCAA tournament. Big game tomorrow between TCU and Ohio State. Everybody here locally so excited for that tip-off at 11 o'clock.
Classic 8-9.
Kidding.
Can't figure it out.
Kidding. Troy takes on Nebraska. That's the game we'll all have our eyes on. Enjoy the games. We will see you Monday here on Middays with Matt, but my beautiful voice will still be here on the Zone for the next 35-ish minutes because the crossover with John Bishop and Austin Jacobson is up next.